protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The future of college basketball, whether you like it or not, all right, with the NIL and with the portal, the best players are going to end up basically in the best conferences playing on the biggest stage. And I think it's great for college basketball. I'm all for good on good. I'm all for the best players and the best teams playing to win a national championship. Cinderella's great in the first and second round, but when it comes to the Sweet 16 moving forward, I want to see good on good.
Hi, everyone. It's the Adam Gold Show on a game night. Hope all is well. Victoria's here. Hi, Victoria.
I am. It's a Friday.
Bingo. Bingo. Put it right there on a tee.
I know. We're getting there.
We made it. We made it 2 days without a game.
I know.
Now we have a game.
Yeah,
we have post-draft hangover.
Yeah, we do.
Did you watch the draft?
Of course.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
While I tried to flip back and forth between hockey games.
I had otherwise, on my Blue Sky profile, it says, I'll read it, sports talker, Canes Corner podcast host, top-level chauffeur for youth footballer.
Yeah.
So we had the third part of that.
Mm-hmm.
We had obligations there. So I got home about 9:30 last night.
Makes it difficult to watch.
While he was doing footballing things, I was watching hockey. I was watching the Lightning and the Panthers, and then I tuned into Toronto, Ottawa. I think I said this before, and whenever before the playoffs started, remember I said Toronto over Ottawa in 5, which is plus 400 if you wanted to make that wager. I hope people have, because I think Ottawa has a chance to win. These games have been tight.
They have.
Right? Except for game 1, they've been tight. So Ottawa can absolutely win game 4 and force this series back to Toronto for a game 5. So plus 400 is still in play. But about 3 weeks ago, I was of the mind that, oh man, you didn't want to play the Senators. And then as the season wore on, I watched them in the game against Carolina when Ottawa dressed their whole team and Carolina dressed half of a team and none of the most important 7 players.
People who just graduated high school.
Basically. The Glee Club dressed for Carolina. And I went, I think Ottawa might be a little too loose. And Toronto isn't the team to be a little too loose with. And at that point, even though it was bashed the microphone. Even though it was a completely meaningless game, at that point I went, you know what? Ottawa's going out in 1 round. They're not going to. And
yeah.
So that was the only of the series that I picked. That was the only one that was less than 6 games. I thought that was going to be a runaway, a gentleman's sweep, if you will.
Looks like it might be.
Look, I wouldn't put it past Ottawa to win game 4. And then Toronto can feel the pressure of the scoreboard a little bit.
Big time.
And maybe Toronto falls apart, then who knows?
It's in their genes.
But I do think that it is more likely that Toronto wins in 4 than Toronto plays a 6th game in this series. The other series, I had Tampa beating Florida That doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Not really.
I had Montreal over Washington in 7. We'll see what happens in Game 3.
Interesting.
Montreal could have, Washington.
There's been close games.
An overtime game winner in Game 1. Washington's starts have been key to everything. Overtime winner in Game 1. 2-1 win in all 3 goals happened in, 5 minutes of the second period. I had Carolina over New Jersey in 7. We are not even close to the end of this series yet. Colorado over Dallas in 6, which could still happen.
Yeah.
Colorado's got to win on home ice.
Talk about close games.
St.
going
Louis,
into OT.
St. Louis over Winnipeg. I had the Blues in 6.
Oh, you did take the Blues. That's right.
I took the Blues. I took the Wild, who have a lead on the Golden Knights, and I took the Kings. NHL playoffs are almost always more interesting than the NBA playoffs, especially in the early rounds.
Hands down.
In the East right now, it doesn't look that way because they're all 4 series are 4-0 or 2-0 in the East. The West is all over the place. Kings have a 2-0 lead. The other 3 series, both teams have gotten wins. It's either 1-1 or it's 2-1.
Yeah.
The other way.
Kings have just been handling the Oilers.
Yeah. Well, Edmonton is kind of broken, and their goaltending is not great.
Still,
yeah,
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they never got a different goalie after last season. Last season was their season to win. Like that was they are like the Buffalo Bills on hockey for me. Like last season was their season to win the cup. They didn't, so now it's over.
But the goalie that took them to the Stanley Cup Finals, Stuart Skinner, has been their goalie. I understand. At some point, though, you have to recognize that he's not that guy.
Yep.
But he got them to the brink of it. They played in a Game 7. Of course, they were down 3-0.
It also helps when McDavid scores 10 goals.
But isn't that's the formula for them?
Yeah.
It's always been the formula for them.
Draisaitl and McDavid.
Which I'll never understand why they added Jeff Skinner to that team.
No.
But they did. Because maybe they'll never really truly understand it. But they needed better goaltending, but there's a lot of teams that needed better goaltending. And I think that we have heard cries from Caniacs about the same thing.
Yeah.
So it really is about the guys in front more than anything else. But I don't think Edmonton's beaten the Kings for a 4th straight year. I took the Kings this year. We are going to get to hockey. We're going to spend plenty of time on Game 3 tonight. I asked 2 trivia questions on Twitter. I'll ask them on the show as well. And maybe we can take some answers.
Yeah, I even had a poll yesterday.
You had a poll yesterday?
Yeah, I did on my Twitter. I had a poll question.
Why didn't you ask it on the air?
Well, it was during the draft.
Oh, okay.
It was how us Panther fans and just any football observer feels about the draft pick.
Oh, Ted McMillan. All right, well, we'll start there.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. Tetairoa?
Tetairoa.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think he goes by the nickname Nola.
Or T-Mac, apparently, because people are calling him Tet, but it's T-Mac or that.
I think he said Nola because that's the part of the name of the town where he grew up in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he is the 8th overall pick, and he was ranked as the top wide receiver in this class. Now, it depends on who you are asking whether or not this is a wide receiver worthy of being the 8th pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. So here's Todd McShay and his co-host, Steve Munch. I don't know who Steve Munch is, but I know he's the co-host on the Todd McShay show. This is what they thought of that pick.
Not my favorite player in the draft. I'm going to let you talk about his things. The size and the acrobatic catches are obvious, but what is it about this fit that you love for Carolina?
You see, listen, I think he's better after the catch than maybe some people give him credit because he's such a big guy. He's a long strider. He can catch it in stride. He can give you a little bit of something after the catch. Not going to be a guy that runs by defenses, but he'll make plays downfield. He can come down with 50-50 balls. I do agree with you. I don't think he's Drake London in terms of the aggression, the the absolute, I am going to come. There's no such thing as a 50-50 ball for Drake London. It's always his ball. I see some of those things as well, but you're getting a big body receiver that can come down with 50-50 catches, gives you something after the catch, can stretch the field a little bit. He's a good player. I think this is a little rich for him. I would agree with you.
All right, so let's just stop it there. When he says a little rich for him, I think he's talking about the number 8. 8 overall.
Yeah.
What have we heard about this draft over and over and over and over and over again? There's a handful of can't-miss guys, and then it's basically everybody's the same for like the next 25 or so picks. Mm-hmm. Here's Mike Tannenbaum from ESPN on Ted McMillan.
Golden rated higher, and I would have taken Golden. I like McMillan. I think for Bryce Young, who's an undersized quarterback, the bigger catching radius. This guy reminds me a lot of Keyshawn Johnson we had in New York. Keyshawn, a big catching radius. That's what an undersized quarterback needs. But Matthew Golden ran a 4.29, played out of 4.29. Outside of Travis Hunter, the most explosive player, receiver of the draft. He was higher on my board. And for me, for a team that needs to score points, that needs explosive chunk plays, I think Golden was a better fit, the better player for the Panthers. I think McMillan will be good, taking nothing away from him. But the better choice was Golden.
All right. I would point out that Mike Tannenbaum ruined two teams in the AFC East. He ruined the Dolphins and he ruined the Jets. You could certainly argue that the Jets came self-ruined. Mm-hmm. So already pre-ruined when Tannenbaum got there. But, yeah, not necessarily my favorite authority. Here's what I would say. The numbers don't lie. The size doesn't lie. I don't buy anything that a tiny quarterback, he's just a little midget, that he needs a giant at wide receiver. I don't buy that for a second. He seemed to be okay throwing to, when he was right, throwing to whomever was the target, whether it was Chuba Hubbard out of the backfield or David Moore, or, I mean, he threw fine to all these guys. He doesn't need, then you should just draft guys who are 6'9". To be wide receivers.
Monsters.
All of these things they lack any meaning to me. The thing about we're going to hear from McMillan in a minute. 84 catches, 1,319 yards, 8 touchdowns, 12-game season. These are great numbers. I would argue that in the opener against a not-so-great New Mexico team, he had 304 of those yards and 4 touchdowns. So the other numbers are just good. They're not amazing. But all the measurables, he's not super fast, but he's got great hands, and I have read more than enough breakdowns of McMillan where if he gets his hands on it, he's got it. How many times, and we see it all the time. We saw it with Liggett, a few times during the season. The ball is there, it's in their hands, and the defensive back comes in and knocks it away. Mm-hmm. Won't happen with Ted McMillan.
Hope not.
He catches the ball. And the most important thing for me, for a receiver, catch it with your hands, not with your body. I think he's going to be a very good player.
I hope so.
Okay. And we're going to... let's hear from McMillan first, and then I'll give you a couple more thoughts about Ted McMillan. Here's McMillan on being ready to go.
Oh, man, I think it's going to be amazing. First things first, obviously, Bryce Young, Cali to Cali connection. That's immediately. And as well as, the other receivers, Xavier, Adam Thielen. And I feel like, our OC, Coach Izzik, will definitely, put it together. I know Coach Canales calls the plays, and, I'm confident in them, and they're confident in me, and I'm just ready to take the Panthers to the next level.
All right, now on the emotions of being the pick at number 8.
Yeah, man, I just feel just relief, just finally knowing what team I get to play for. Man, I'm just blessed. I'm super grateful for this opportunity and this moment, and I'm just taking it all in right now.
I think he also said that Bryce Young was the best high school player he ever saw.
Probably.
Right, and
they apparently had some kind of, friendship going into the. I've heard a lot.
I think Young's just a little bit older, right?
He is. But they apparently work together. I mean, this is all through the grapevine, but I heard that they had actually trained together a little bit. So maybe they had a friendship already building.
I mean,
I have concerns, but that's
they're all SoCal guys. All right, so here's my overall thought about drafting a wide receiver at number 8 who is not can't pass him up at number 8. And I think we would all agree that this is not really we can't pass up this player at number 8. That doesn't mean that he wouldn't have been available at number 18. I'm just a random number I'm picking out of the air. It says to me that there was nobody really willing to trade up. Mm-hmm. I think if this was a better draft in terms of difference makers, then the Panthers would have gotten more action at number 8, because there would have been a lot of teams who went, are the Saints going to take a quarterback? If Shador Sanders was more highly thought of, would teams have traded up to where the Panthers were? If there were other skill position players, if the tight ends, and nobody's going to trade up really to get a tight end, or if there were other marauding defensive players, would teams have traded up to number 8? It's clear that wasn't the case, because the Panthers made it absolutely obvious that they would be willing to trade back, and nobody clearly came up. All right, so at that point, you have to decide, of the next 20 players who, in terms of overall impact in the league, they might all have the same grade, which one do we want? Mm-hmm. So they decided it was Tet McMillan. Boom. So for that, I have no problem with them taking him. But here's what it says to me. Who did they trade into the first round to get last year? Remember, they didn't have a first-round pick. They traded into the first round. Granted, it was just one spot. But they traded into the first round to get Xavier Legette. Mm-hmm. I thought he was your guy.
Right.
So now you've just taken a guy that he's going to be the guy. And Dave Canales said last night that he is a surefire day one impact player. All right. So here's a guy that we expect to be on the outside, left side, right side, I don't know. First snap, given health, first snap, first game of the season, by the way, May 14th. We'll find out what that game will be. Mm-hmm. NFL schedule reveal is May 14th. So that's a lot of pressure. And now here's what I would say about the Panthers and their draft. Wide receiver at number 1. Last year, wide receiver at number 1. Running back with an active ACL injury at number 2, and they traded up to get him. Quarterback Bryce Young, the previous number 1 pick, right? Whether I'm not going to go back and litigate why the trade to get to Bryce Young was bad. Jonathan Mingo, not on the roster.
Nope.
Ike Ekwonu, the year before,
not been the change maker
right.
we needed.
He has not been the left tackle set forever. Mm-hmm. Matt Corral.
Yikes.
Not in the. He might be in the league. He's got to be on somebody's practice squad.
Maybe.
Has to
he
be.
Coaching? Maybe that was somebody joking that he was coaching Little League or something.
So that's a lot of capital spent on offense for a team whose defense is so bad.
The worst, actually.
But again, I will fall back to this. It was clear nobody's trading up. The player we want here, who might be available 15 spots later, we're not going to pick 15 spots later. We're going to pick right now. And nobody wants our pick. So we're going to make it. And we're going to take the player we would have taken at 18 or 22 or whatever. And that's what happened. So is 8 the right spot for Tet McMillan? Probably not. No. But it might not have been the right spot for anybody, to be honest. Yeah. But nobody wanted that pick. I'm a little curious why they didn't address defense round 1, which means that when they pick again at number 57, and that's the part about this that is really troubling to me, although there's nothing they could have done about it if nobody wanted the 8th pick, is that there's going to be a lot of good players go off the board between now and the back quarter of round 2 tonight.
Yeah.
And now, the draft doesn't start till I think 6, right? And so when the Panthers pick, are they going to have, good players, day 1 starting caliber players at safety, at cornerback, at edge rusher, at defensive tackle? Because to me, they need all of those. Linebacker, they need all of those positions.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I have my concerns as a Panther fan, but
yeah, I know
they don't listen to me.
You didn't like picking a wide receiver.
I don't hate the pick. Hopefully he's great, but it does concern me. Hopefully they see something in him that I don't know about, because with Walker and Warren still there, I felt like maybe one of those two would have been better, but now we've got Walker on our division rivals, so that makes it even worse, too, if we didn't pick him.
Oh, that's right. He went to Atlanta.
He went to 15. The Falcons. Yeah.
At 15. Ty Warren wasn't even the first tight end taken. The kid from Michigan went number 10.
Yeah, I know.
To the Bears. The Bears took him.
It's crazy.
So
I don't know. It concerns me. Also, I realize that this guy is tall and he can get the ball when it's in his hands. However, they do say he's a little slow.
Yeah,
he's
not.
My concerns is that, Bryce never has enough time to throw a deep ball. So it's well, we got to fix something to make these two pieces work. So I don't know. Hopefully they know things that we don't know on the outside, but I'm concerned.
Write that down. Hopefully they know things that we don't.
Right.
And almost always they do.
Mm-hmm.
Almost always they do.
That's why I'm trying not to take the pitchforks out.
I'm not criticizing the pick, because I think if you analyze the entirety of the situation, ain't like there were tons of trade ups at that part. The next trade after Jacksonville traded from 5 to 2 to get Travis Hunter, the next trade was the Giants trading back in, right? At number 25. So it was clear that nobody wanted to trade up to get 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nobody. Couldn't even convince Dallas. They're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Ashton Genty was off the board. I think if Genty was still there at number 8, you might have been able to get Dallas to trade up. But a lot of offensive linemen went. Dallas took an offensive lineman.
I know.
Good for them. I'll never criticize taking an offensive lineman, except the Jets took a right tackle at number 8. I don't need number 7. I don't even get that, but whatever.
I know.
They do need a better offensive line. Offensive line was a problem for them. So if he's a plug-and-play starter at right tackle, whatever. So that's why I said it's hard to criticize the pick, because it's clear that nobody wanted to trade up.
Yeah.
And those players were probably all of the same overall quality. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it will work out.
You never know. Yeah, that's the thing about the draft. You just never know.
We're doing spinning a wheel, rolling dice. Hopefully it will work out. Mm-hmm. Shador Sanders is still available.
Yep.
That was obviously the bigger surprise of the evening, that Shador Sanders is still out there.
Did you see the tweet that people were poor guy, were kind of pointing out that he had made? Something about today's the day, or feeling good about today.
Oh, really?
And people were underneath saying tomorrow, because he didn't go today, meaning yesterday.
Social media is always fun.
Yeah.
Here's Booger McFarland on why no one took Shador Sanders.
It's amazing how the NFL views these quarterbacks. If you can't do the wild things anymore, if you can't throw the off-platform throws, if you can't throw the football 70 yards down the field, they don't necessarily view you maybe as a first-round quarterback. I think that's what the NFL says. I disagree. I think Shador Sanders should have gone in the first round. He does the thing that a quarterback needs to do, and he does them well. Makes really good decisions, throws the football accurately, has good timing. I think he should have been a first-round pick, but I think the NFL is telling us they want wild things like they did with Cam Ward with their first-round quarterbacks, and they're saying Shador Sanders just doesn't do that for them.
There's a lot of teams that need quarterback. Pittsburgh needed a quarterback, and didn't take either Shador Sanders or Jackson Dart at 21. Now, they needed other things too, so they decided to take other things. They took a defensive tackle from Oregon. And I think Mike Tannenbaum, again, always keep in mind he ruined 2 franchises in the same division on the Steelers passing on a quarterback.
I'm still surprised that the Steelers didn't take him. And maybe they have a handshake deal with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe they feel there's an agreement in principle with Kirk Cousins. I am just going to bed tonight, hard-pressed to think, guys, at the end of the day, you're going to pay a massive premium for DK Metcalf and Mason Rudolph, your quarterback. And Pittsburgh doesn't pick until 83. So I just don't understand, for as great of an organization, as consistent an organization, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
All right. Reality for Mike Tannenbaum and for everybody else. Let's just say, for giggles, that Sanders and or Jackson Dart are worthy of being selected in the first round. Just for giggles, let's say they both should have been first-round picks. What are the chances that either is good enough to be an effective starter on day one? So you didn't just go out and get DK Metcalf for this year, obviously, because you don't have a quarterback. They could have re-signed Justin Fields to give themselves something. They let Justin Fields and Russell Wilson walk out the door. So it can't just be for year one. They have to be thinking about this long term. And maybe they believe that there will be a quarterback sitting there in the third round that they like. Maybe the kid from Louisville. Maybe Milroe. I don't know. Milroe's probably going to be gone in the second round. Heck, he might go before Shador Sanders. I do think that there is a fair amount of pushback on the he is the son of Deion Sanders, and there is an air of, this is, again, based on everything I've read, arrogance about it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of these teams who otherwise need a quarterback, the Saints also in that mix, if that isn't, something worth thinking about. But I do think the Steelers either think they're going to get Aaron Rodgers or know that they can just make a push and trade for Kirk Cousins. That's where we are. All right. When we come back, Greg Wyshynyski of ESPN. Game 3 in New Jersey tonight. Talk about that next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Canes are back in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's Game 3.
Slipped it out in front, back to Gostisbehere. Second chance, he scores! Persistence is named Shane Gostisbehere, and we're tied at 1.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 7. Puck Drop at 8.
Martinook up high, he scores! Jordan Martinook shorthanded, it's 2-1 Carolina.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Need a spot to cheer on the Canes? Join the Carolina Hurricanes crew at Carolina Ale House's Cary location for away game watch parties. They'll have giveaways, prizes, and more. Yeah, even Stormy will be there. Weather permitting, there'll be a lawn party with a giant TV next to the restaurant. Bring a folding chair and cause chaos. Carolina Ale House is an official partner of the Carolina Hurricanes. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs. Or visit CarolinaAleHouse.com/Canes for more info. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
A few contest rules from sports radio stations The Fan, The Buzz. No purchase necessary, 21 to enter and play. Limited to 1 entry per person and 1 prize winner per family or household per contest every 30 days. Employees of Capital Broadcasting, its agencies, sponsors, subsidiaries, other broadcast companies, and immediate families of the above are ineligible to play. Winners are verified, complete documentation, and are responsible for all taxes and prizes received. All prizes are non-transferable and cannot be redeemed for cash. Winners give Sports Radio the right to publicize his or her name, likeness, or voice. Sports may change contest rules and prizes at any time and holds no liability for canceled or postponed events. Complete info of Sports Radio contests available at WRALSportsFan.com or during normal business hours at 3100 Highwoods Boulevard in Raleigh.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The Family Media Plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan today to create the media plan that's right for your family.
This is Adam Gold.
I did love that Rod video with him, though, when he was trying to communicate.
Yeah, you speak hockey.
And he was like, it's okay, you don't need to know this, you know hockey. And I was like, oh, heartstrings. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Game 3 at Prudential Center. At some point, we'll figure out how to start a game at normal time at 7. We started Game 2 at 6. We're starting Game 3 at 8.
At least they waited till Friday to start later.
We'll figure it out. I know the Lightning and Panthers, I think, started before 7 o'clock yesterday. Greg Wyshynyski, his body clock is just set on Stanley Cup playoffs from ESPN at Wyshynyski on Twitter. Sir, how do you feel going into Game 3? I'll let you put your Devils hat on if you want.
Well, first of all, I'm not even attuned to the start times.
Gosh.
I went to put on Jeopardy last night before the NFL draft, and I'm like, what? It's the second period already between Florida and Tampa. What the hell's going on here? So listen, as an admirer of the Devils, lifelong admirer of the Devils, I came into the series with realistic expectations, which is that their ceiling might be getting through one round without Jack Hughes. But with the injuries to Luke Hughes, to Brendan Dillon, I saw that there's a chance they might get Siegenthaler back tonight, which will be a nice boost. Listen, they were thoroughly outplayed in Game 1. I think they got goalied a little bit in Game 2 by Freddie, who was really, really strong and snuffed out any chance they had of getting back. I don't know what to expect in Game 3, to be honest with you. We've seen in other series it snapped back pretty dramatically to the home team playing well. But then we've also seen the Toronto-Ottawa series where one team is clearly superior to the other, and it doesn't matter if they get back on home ice. The series is over anyway. So I predicted it was going to be a long series. I said Hurricanes in 7, so we'll see if the Devils have more to offer now they're back on home ice. I
said the exact same thing. I thought and still think this is going to be a long series, primarily because over the last I'm throwing out a number here. I haven't really broken it down, but over the last 30 games, Hurricanes have not been a goal-scoring machine. And if you're going to score 2 or 3 goals in a game, which is primarily where Carolina has been, then it doesn't take that much for the game to go the other way. I thought Game 2 was pretty even. I thought the Devils were better, certainly early in the first. The Hurricanes, I thought, were better throughout the second. I thought the third, Carolina needed to have Freddie Anderson stand on his head a bit with a few saves. I thought over the course of the game was probably pretty even, and I think that does speak well for the Devils, even given their personnel issues on the back end. I think Carolina's got a lot more to give. I think both teams' top players in terms of their offense can give more. Who gets the edge tonight is, to me, who will win Game 3.
Yeah, I think the issue for the Devils right now is that they're getting something that they hadn't necessarily gotten during the regular season, and then they're not getting something else that they did get during the regular season. So Jacob Markstrom was kind of up and down in his first year in Jersey. He was inconsistent to the point where Jake Allen got a bunch of starts.
Yeah.
He was hurt for a while. He's been fantastic in the series. Like, he's been really, really good in the series, to the point of maybe the Devils feeling a little bit vindicated in trading for him, because this is why they got him. They got him to stabilize the position in big spots. What hasn't gone right, though, is the power play. And so that's partially maybe the Devils regressing to the mean with the personnel losses to their power play, which have been really good without Jack Hughes, but eventually that catches up with you.
Right.
But more to the point, it's because they're playing the best penalty kill on the planet.
Yeah.
We've talked for years about the power kill and the personnel that Carolina can put out there, and obviously they've had shorthanded success in the series. So, when you aren't scoring, and when you're missing big offensive pieces like the Devils are, you've got to take advantage of your time on special teams. And you could feel the frustration and how that's not come together for them at all in this series because of what the Hurricanes are doing.
Greg Wyshynyski from ESPN is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. What do you make of I'll call it a headbutt, Brent Burns on Timo Meier? It was pretty tame, was not called. What do you make of that? And then we can talk about all the other sort of shenanigans that we've seen.
Nah, it's whatever.
Thank you. All right.
I'm not. We are currently dealing with another molehill in Toronto, Ottawa, where one former teammate shot a puck at another former teammate before the game, and you got the Toronto media calling it an NHL investigation when it's probably just like a quick phone call from Colin Campbell being like, "Tell your guy not to do that." So it's that time of year where every little incident gets scrutinized, and some incidents are bigger than others. Brandon Hagel's getting a hearing today for chucking Alexander Barkov into the boards, but I didn't think much of headbutt gate.
Why is Hagel getting a potential supplemental discipline for that?
Well, I think the issue with it is that right now we are going under the assumption that Florida's best player is injured on a play that was clearly worthy of a 5-minute major. The puck was gone.
Okay.
Hagel is literally lining up Barkov with space between Barkov and the board, so he hits the ice, and then you can hear Barkov, because he's 250, bang off the end boards pretty violently. So I think it's the two things that player safety is always going to get you on is if you deliver a hit that shouldn't be delivered, and if there's a violent aspect to the hit. And I think the distance between Barkov and the boards and the violent way he banged off the boards is going to be enough to earn a hearing and probably give him a game.
I just have such a problem with adjudicating a result as opposed to an intent. And I don't really want to have a conversation about it, but when Jacob Markstrom swings his stick the way he did, and unfortunately hits his own teammate, Cody Glass, who did not miss a game.
Yes.
For the life of me, the intent to me is way more important than the result, because, hey, sometimes the result doesn't work, isn't as bad, and thankfully it wasn't in this case. But if that makes contact with the side of Svechnikov's leg, who knows what happens there? I just think intent is the only thing. I also don't know how you adjudicate intent.
I do think there was intent by Hagel last night, because there was no reason to deliver the hit. He's clearly trying to do something away from the puck that that's injurious. But the intent where that gets really muddy in the NHL, like, is with stick fouls. We've seen a couple of instances of guys getting knocked on the noggin by opponents with two hands on their stick, and the NHL is literally like, well, they didn't, rear all the way back with their stick to hit them. And I'm just like, that's where it kind of gets muddy for me. Is
right.
A stick to the head is a stick to the head. A slash is a slash. Like, these guys are wizards with their sticks. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of whether or not you want to consider it, quote unquote, in the course of play, in a scrum. Like, what is the gleaning the intent away from the aspect of the play is the tough part.
Greg Wyshynyski joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Are you surprised that Tampa lost both games at home?
I'm surprised they lost the first game because they had been playing well. The Panthers were just getting Tkachuk back, and he hadn't played in a while. And if you watched him, I mean, he wasn't that full of velocity. Most of the stuff he did was with his hands in that game versus his legs. And so I really thought home ice, a chance to make a declarative statement, they do that in game one. And then if you do that in game one, you can afford to have a game like game two where they got goalied by Bob. But then they soiled themselves in game one. They were terrible in game one. Vasilevsky was bad. They looked like a team that didn't know, what happens in the playoffs when you get punched in the mouth by your opponent. Like, they were all out of sorts. So I'm really surprised that it's 2-0 right now in favor of the Panthers, and I'm really surprised that Florida's offense is MIA, and that the Panthers look like they haven't missed a beat from winning the Cup last year.
Yeah, they're making a mockery of the importance of the regular season is what the Panthers are doing, because basically for the last, really since Four Nations, they have basically just been in let's just get ready for the playoffs mode. And look, they are that good. I thought all year long that I don't care what I saw anywhere else, they were the best team. And then they spent a month convincing me otherwise to the point where I picked Tampa in the series and to get to the Stanley Cup Finals against Colorado, who now finds themselves down 2-1 going to game 4. That's been a great series, but I think they've kind of let Dallas up off the mat twice.
I cannot. You talk about like surprises in the playoffs. Like, we all knew that Landeskog was coming back at some point for Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that he came back in game 3 at home and they got that lift of him, skating out for the first time since they lifted the cup. The home fans are going crazy. Families in the building, and they lose that game.
Yeah.
Like, I can't fathom that. I can't fathom how they lost that game with that level of emotional lift. And now the problem for them is that the other side's got a lift coming. Like, Miro Heiskanen is working his way back in the lineup. Their best defenseman.
Yeah.
And, there was talk about him maybe missing the entire series. That started to dissipate as we got closer to the playoffs with an eye towards him coming back maybe later in the series. Like, Colorado's got themselves in a pickle because the other side's going to get their lift at some point with him coming back in the lineup. And, oh, by the way, it's a 2-1 deficit, and now you're in a must-win situation because I don't think they're coming back 3-1 against this Dallas team if they've played this well without some of their best players in the lineup.
Yeah, especially the way they beat the Stars in game 1. That was such a thorough beating, and they have the third period lead in game 2. I was stunned they let that go. I was stunned they got beat by the guy that beat him, right? A guy who had just come into the lineup. Who'd they sit? I forget who they sat out.
Well, it was Colin Blackwell,
right? Whom they sat out, Maverick Bourque.
Yeah, who was a signing last summer, the magnitude of which probably didn't even make the ticker at the bottom of the screen, and then he ends up scoring like the biggest goal of the series. I mean, that's the beauty of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Yep. Like, it's a different hero every night, and sometimes it's the person you least expect. But again, the thing that we're talking about, though, and it is important to remember about Colorado right now, is that it is 2 overtime wins. I mean, a bounce here, a bounce there, a shot here, a shot there, we're having a completely different conversation. So you're right. The only game that was really declarative was game 1, and then Dallas has scraped and clawed and gutted out two extra session wins. So, I mean, listen, I'm still stunned that the Avalanche lost game 3, but they're very much in the series.
All right, final thing for Greg Wyshynyski, back to the East, where all 4 series right now are shutouts. Who, if anybody, is turning it around?
I'd say probably Tampa. I mean, it's hard to imagine them being this feckless on offense for the entirety of the series. I know they're frustrated. They're obviously going to be down Hagel for Game 3, which is not ideal for a team that can't score. But I'll give John Cooper and his staff a chance to make some adjustments, figure some things out, especially on the power play where they were 0 for 5 in Game 2. You imagine that's not going to happen for the rest of the series, and see if they can adjust. The Devils got a puncher's chance if they can. I mean, you'll remember this more than I will. Like, I believe all the Devils and Hurricanes held serve at home in the regular season.
They did
2 apiece.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of precedent for the Devils to play better at home, but I still think they're not going to win the series. Ottawa's cooked, and Montreal probably lost their best shot at being in the series with the Game 1 loss when Ovechkin scored in overtime. Like, Montreal rallied in the third. They had a real chance of planting a seed of doubt in the Capitals for a team that, despite winning the Stanley Cup, is still psychologically damaged from 15 years of futility in the playoffs. But I think that ship has sailed for Montreal. I think the Capitals will be okay there.
Greg Wyshynyski, ESPN. I appreciate your time, sir. Enjoy wherever you are, whenever the game starts, and I appreciate you coming on.
I will be in Jersey tonight for Game 3. I'm excited to see how many Carolina fans found affordable tickets from Devils fans looking to dump their ducats because the team's down 0-2.
Yeah, they're just up there to watch Brett Pesce play. He's been amazing.
The Brett Pesce Appreciation Society will be there.
I have nothing but love for that guy. I am an admirer of him. He single-handedly kept the Devils in the game. He was amazing. Greg, I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Greg Wyshynyski from ESPN. We checked in. Look at I love the graphic.
I know.
Can we see can we get a full two-shot on the graphic? Or
Hang
no?
on.
Can we get a full two-shot on it? Yeah.
There we go.
There it is. All right. Let's break. We have one-timers on the other side. We could use one of those for Sebastian Aho. He and I were tied for shot attempts in Game 2. That's not good. One-timers next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. There's a major shortage of mental health professionals, especially in rural areas. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Dr. Joseph Pino of Devant Health tells us about an exciting new program that's expanding mental health care in eastern North Carolina. He explains the need, especially among military families.
Military families frequently face moves across the country, long deployments, and added stress that comes with military life. And those experiences can lead to anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health conditions. The stigma around mental health often prevents people from seeking care.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Agriculture drives our local economy. I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University, and we are looking for our next generation of leaders. If you want to make a difference and help feed the world, join us at the Ag Institute, where we grow successful graduates, productive futures, and rewarding lifestyles. We offer 2-year degrees and hundreds of internships. Learn more online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
Right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's why.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's here. Lots to do. Next hour, Mike Felder will join us. We will talk about the best available players today. Is there somebody that might be available at safety at number 57 or edge rusher that the Panthers or defensive tackle that the Panthers can plug onto a defense that clearly needs help? Michael Felder?
He probably made something delicious for Easter weekend too. So
that's very likely, but he is in New York.
Oh, okay.
He's actually working. So Mike's gonna join us in about 30 minutes. Right now it's time for one-timers.
Okay, kicking things off today from our YouTube stream, we have WM. He wants to know, he says, Luke DeCock said the surgery Freddie had should allow us to play him more without worrying about another injury. Should we still proceed with caution or keep riding the hot hand?
Freddie? Not worried about injury? Get out of here. Sorry. All respect. I always worry about injury with Frederick Anderson. Maybe not to the same body part, but he has other body parts. So, just saying.
Yeah, never know. Well, moving on to, I believe this is Mr. Ross on YouTube. Rumbles on the internet about Nikishin being upset about the contract situation with the Canes currently. Do you have info?
No, there's no... The Hurricane, the contract is already agreed to. The reason it hasn't been signed yet is because if they want to send him to Chicago to play in a playoff game or two, of course, the Wolves dropped game 1, so they could lose game 2, and I think game 2 might be tonight. And I don't think he's going to play in it. Then they would be done. He'll sign the contract the next day. But they're keeping the option of him playing in the American Hockey League in the playoffs so he can get some games. But that's the only reason he hasn't signed a contract. There's the contract. This is according to Eric Tulsky on, was it Monday? Tuesday? Whatever day it was. Monday, I think. Yeah, the contract's been agreed to.
All right, we've got some fresh off the press here on YouTube. So this one is asking, do you see the Canes being able to pull a real run this year? My fear personally, a lack of top-line scoring against Atlantic teams' top-line scoring is going to be much more important.
I've been saying for a long time, first, you go back months, and I said, man, if this team can win a round of the playoffs, it would be a successful season. And while I think it would be a mild success, I think this team can win 2 rounds of the playoffs. They can get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're not as good as Florida. By the way, they'd have a home ice advantage against Florida if Carolina got there. So maybe that helps out some. But they're not as good as Florida, not as good as Tampa, not as good as Toronto. Just look at the rosters. So, yeah, I feel the same way about him as I did before. That doesn't mean you can't win those series, because anything can happen. You get a hot goalie, you get a couple of breaks, all of a sudden you score 3 when you should have scored 1, which happens. But, no, I don't think, all things being equal, I don't think they're a Stanley Cup contender.
No. Well, also, this one from William, I believe this was yesterday. Do you know where the Outdoor Canes watch party will be today?
The Outdoor Canes?
Yeah.
Oh, because they do that in Toronto, outside the arena. I don't know.
That would be fun, unless it rains.
Be beautiful. I don't know. Richard, put it on. Go find yourself a big screen. Let's make it happen.
I know. It should be televised.
Look, they're Carolina Ale House, I believe, in Cary. I think the Cary location has the watch party tonight.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's where it's at.
It's not even a cup check-in.
I know. Last but not least, do you think tonight is going to be more physical on the Devils' side now that they're at home?
All 3 games have been physical. So, yes, more. I don't think you can get more than it was in Game 1. This is almost 100 combined hits. So, it's not going to be more physical. It'll be physical because it's got to be. First goal is going to be enormous tonight, I think.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, you'll get the Giants goal!
Let's go, Canes!
The Chetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Joint pain in your knees, shoulders, or lower back. It can stop you in your tracks. At DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, we offer a revolutionary course of treatment that can eliminate your joint pain and have you back to your old self in no time. Our regenerative therapies actually help repair damaged tissue to eliminate the pain without risky invasive surgery. If you suffer with joint pain and have been told your only options are medications, steroid injections, or surgery, DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells. With minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
It's bow time. Yep. It's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time.
Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
If you see a student being bullied, be supportive. Ask if they're okay and invite them to join you. You'll be an ally and you can make a friend. Friendship! Visit StopBullyingSpeakUp.com and join Cartoon Network to redraw your world without bullying.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at richielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Listen up, parents, teachers, counselors, coaches. Your boys just turned 18, but they need one more push. Don't let them forget to register with the Selective Service System. It's required by law, and it can open up the door to many federal benefits. Visit sss.gov.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When you talk about Shador, I think there's some average athletic and physical things at play, but it's the makeup and the intangibles, I think, that set him apart from Jackson Dart and some of the other quarterbacks. So for me, he's the only other true first-round caliber quarterback in this draft.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is here. Mike Felder is going to join us in 20 minutes. We'll ask him about Shador Sanders. Is he surprised that we had 32 selections and none of them were Shador Sanders? I did see a video of his brother, who I guess might also be drafted tonight, just kind of lightening the mood about, man, if he falls, where am I going to go? He might get anti-drafted.
Yep. Nope.
So,
back to college.
I don't know what's going to happen with Shador Sanders. It's possible that he's not a first-round talent. We have to allow for that. 32 teams didn't take him. 2 quarterbacks were taken, fewest in how long?
A very long time.
Right?
Last year was the quarterback year.
They took a lot of quarterbacks last year. The Kenny Pickett year, Pickett might have been the first. I don't really remember. There are people who remember all the drafts. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
Jeremy Greene. You should ask him when he comes on. He'll know.
We'll talk to him in an hour and a quarter in the roundtable. So I don't know. It's very possible that Sanders just isn't that good. I think ESPN's final rankings, I think they had him at number 35.
Oh, okay.
So, I looked at best available tonight.
Yeah.
And he was not first on the list. He's 8th on the list of best available player.
Really? Because I know a lot of people are saying he's going to the Browns because they picked
Browns
first
have 2
today.
picks. They pick at 33 and 36. By virtue of the trade with Jacksonville, they ended up with their second-round pick. So the Browns picked twice. I mean, they were in the ideal spot. Mm-hmm. Now, they gave away a generational talent maybe at 2 positions. And we're going to play the clip later. But the GM of the Jaguars, actually, do we have it? Mm-hmm. So the GM of the Jaguars is a piece of work. His name is James Gladstone, which I have no idea why isn't like a center back for Wimbledon AFC in League 2 of the English football
Sounds
pyramid.
Like a tire company, too.
I mean, James Gladstone. So we're going to play that in a second. But he does make a good point, even if he self-glosses himself. So This is our second take of the news of the day. We're going to get to some Canes, and we'll get to the Panthers draft as well. So here's what James Gladstone had to say about the acquisition, trading from 5 to 2 to take Travis Hunter.
I probably got some familiarity with the them picks sort of process. So for our fans, I'll tell you, don't be scared. This is something I'm uniquely positioned to navigate, and we ended up with we ended up bringing Travis Hunter to Jacksonville, and with that, he is somebody who is deserving of a first-round draft pick as a wide receiver, and he is worthy of a first-round draft pick as a corner. Certainly look forward to each of those elements showing themselves over the next few years while he's under his rookie contract. But, yeah, we're excited about just getting him in the boat, so to speak.
He is uniquely qualified, is James Gladstone, says James Gladstone. But that is true about Travis Hunter. He's a first-round talent at wide receiver and at cornerback. Now, none of that really means that he's a guarantee to be great at either position. But I think we can all agree, and we'll talk to Mike Felder about this as well, that at the very least, he's going to be really good at both positions. Will he be great? And if you're the second pick in the draft, you need to be great.
Yes, no pressure.
So, all right, well, we'll get to that with Mike Felder in a little bit. Now, the Panthers drafted Tet McMillan, wide receiver from Arizona. We played clips that were questioning the pick, whether or not, like I think the Todd McShay podcast, we're not going to play those now because we did those already. But the Todd McShay podcast, or McShay, who's formerly with ESPN, now does his own thing on YouTube. I think he had him as the 50th best player in the draft.
I had seen that, yeah.
That seems harsh.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm not the talent evaluator.
No,
so
same.
I'm not telling you that he's the 8th best player or not.
Sometimes they even do busts.
They have no clue.
They know, nobody knows.
I mean, honestly, it's crazy. But everything that I have read, all the people we have talked to have said the exact same thing. There are a handful of difference makers, and then while there are a lot of really good players, and Tet McMillan would fall into this category, there's a lot of not quite difference maker talent from, say, 8, 10, all the way through the end of the first round. And if nobody wants to trade up, then you got to take the guy that you want that's clear through their own, statements, because they could have taken anybody, that this was the guy they wanted. So even though you could say, well, he's not value at number 8, who would have been? Who would have been value at number 8? You could have taken for a position of need, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's the good thing either. They clearly thought that this guy was worth taking.
Right. Yeah, it's all speculation. Who knows?
Xavier Liggett, last year, they traded back into the first round.
Yeah.
They only moved up one spot, but they gave up an asset to move up a spot and take Xavier Liggett and whatever. And
I understand people's frustrations when they see offense when we have a terrible defense.
Yeah, 3 years in a row, offense. An offensive player is the first-round pick.
Right.
Worse than that, their second pick in each of these rounds were also defenders, or also offensive players.
Yeah.
Including trading up in the second round to take a running back, which, I'm sorry, don't understand. Jonathan Mingo, who didn't work out as a second-round pick wide receiver, and Matt Corral.
Poor guy.
Exactly.
Poor guy.
Exactly, Matt Corral.
Yikes.
A former Ole Miss quarterback, maybe Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Is now a former Ole Miss quarterback. All right, let's get to the fact that nobody took Shador Sanders. Booger McFarland on maybe why.
It's amazing how the NFL views these quarterbacks. If you can't do the wild things anymore, if you can't throw the off-platform throws, if you can't throw the football 70 yards down the field, they don't necessarily view you maybe as a first-round quarterback. I think that's what the NFL says. I disagree. I think Shador Sanders should have gone in the first round. He does the things that a quarterback needs to do, and he does them well. Makes really good decisions, throws the football accurately, has good timing. I think he should have been a first-round pick, but I think the NFL is telling us they want wild things like they did with Cam Ward with their first-round quarterbacks, and they're saying Shador Sanders just doesn't do that for them.
Well, in general, if you don't do one thing exceptionally well, I can certainly see why 31 teams, because Cam Ward was always going to be the first pick. I can see why 31 teams didn't say, yeah, we got to have that guy, because maybe he doesn't do one thing exceptionally well. I think he does a lot of things really well. He's very accurate as a thrower. Doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but also doesn't have the weakest arm in the world. I would point out that, and this is where being a former Jets fan comes in handy. Chad Pennington was a very good quarterback for, not a super long time, but probably 6 or 7 years. And Chad Pennington couldn't throw the ball through a wet paper towel. He had a very, very average arm, but he was a really good quarterback. He was a late first-round pick. So, and by the way, it shouldn't be like the biggest snub ever if he's drafted in the second round.
Yeah.
I would point out Brett Favre was taken in the second round. I mean, Favre, he got a lot of, there's a lot of baggage there, but we're not going to argue with whether or not he was a great quarterback or not, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure Sanders will get in a good situation. Now, as a second-round pick, a little chip on his shoulder, the whole thing. Whoever drafts him, and my guess is, well, it won't be Pittsburgh because he's not going to still be there unless they trade into the third round. Pittsburgh's either going to sign Aaron Rodgers, trade for Kirk Cousins, or they're going to trade future draft picks to get up into the second round and take Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
But Sanders is going to be, maybe he's a developmental quarterback somewhere. Maybe with the Rams. Maybe with the Saints. Who knows? Honestly, maybe with the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't think they're looking at Justin Fields as the quarterback forever.
I wouldn't say so, yeah.
I mean,
No.
that's a 2-year deal, but that doesn't really mean anything.
Speaking of late-picked quarterbacks, I feel so bad for Will Levis because we all know he's bad, but that really shows you're bad when your team the next year after getting you.
Well, it was 2 years, right? He was 2 years ago. He was the pick,
so.
right?
But, yeah,
Right.
but I felt so bad for him because I'm like, Wolf, buddy. That really shows that mayonnaise and coffee is not the way to go.
That's why. Try. They have non-dairy creamers.
They do.
You don't really
All
have to.
flavors.
You don't really have exactly. Maybe they have a mayonnaise flavor of non-dairy creamer.
Oh, woof.
Thank you. All right, real quick. Hurricanes in New Jersey tonight. And amid all of the questions about what are you expecting from the Devils, the head coach says he's not worried about the Devils.
Well, everybody's making little adjustments as you go. I mean, there's no doubt. I think you just have to be aware of it and then try not to make too much of it. Like, I think it's about your game, and maybe they've done this. We got to be aware too about what's our game. Like you really have to focus on what you do well, and we'll worry about that and get that right, which usually takes up all your energy, to be honest.
All right, now the Devils played very well in Game 2 for the same price. Were it not for Frederick Anderson heroics, we could be talking about a 1-1 series. Is Rod worrying about that kind of carrying over to tonight?
I think every game takes on its own life. Like, I think whatever one game is, or even almost period to period, at times you get a reset, you got to start over. And the other night I didn't love our first period, no one did, so it was time to reset, and then we had a better period. I mean, I don't really think there's carryover much from game to game or even period to period.
I think there can be carryover. There's a greater chance of carryover from period to period than there is from game to game, especially when you've got 2 full days off in between. In terms of personnel tonight, if you are somebody who writes down the rosters, the lines, the starting goaltenders, if you have that from Game 2 for Carolina, that's also good tonight. There are no changes. No changes to the forward lines, no changes to the goaltender. Frederik Andersen, who did not skate this morning, is the starter tonight. I said I would start Kochetkov because I would like to give Freddie an additional day and a half. But I think Rod is also thinking about this in 2 different ways. One, he gets an extra day off in between. While he had to be great in the third period, it was really the only period where Andersen had a ton of work. So it shouldn't have been too crazy in terms of exertion. It gives them the best chance to go 3-0 ahead. And if you start Kochetkov, Andersen plays Sunday, then you have another short turnaround on home ice. What if the series is 2-2? A short turnaround for a Game 5 here, and you would probably be going, all right, I'm going to go back to Freddie anyway.
Yeah.
But you're still giving him a chance to, it's 2 in a row right there, and maybe 4 out of the first 5 isn't ideal in that way. So he goes here with the extra day. Kochetkov, I'll have a bone to pick with the head coach if Kochetkov doesn't play on Sunday, regardless of what happens tonight.
Right.
And then you'll have Andersen with another day, 2.5 days off, plays Friday, then wouldn't have to play until Tuesday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 full days off again until he plays again. So I think that's the theory behind starting Andersen tonight. And he's played so well, 960 save percentage. No other changes. As for the Devils, Luke Hughes, Brandon Dillon, not back, so they will not play tonight. The forward group is exactly the same as played in Raleigh on Tuesday. The only change is that Jonas Siegenthaler, who has been a good player for them, a very solid defensive defenseman, he will draw into the lineup. He's been out for a while. He will draw into the lineup and play, according to Sheldon Keefe, the head coach, a limited role, which they already had somebody playing a limited role last game, Dennis Chwalski, who is a journeyman veteran defender. He'll play with Simon Nemitz, who is a good young defenseman who struggled in Game 2. So we'll see if Siegenthaler can make a positive impact in the game. But he's coming back from an injury, and he's coming back a little earlier than they would have liked. But they don't really have the luxury of waiting when you're 2-0 down in the series. All right, when we come back, who are the best players left on the board? Who are the best players that might fit the Carolina Panthers, who pick late in the second round? Why is Shador Sanders still sitting on his couch at home? We'll talk to Mike Felder about that next.
From the heels,
touchdown Carolina,
to the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
So you're looking for a fun night out, a cool hang to watch the game, maybe even a date night. Adam Gold here, and you need to check out X Golf in Cary, McGregor Village, off of US 64. X Golf has the best simulator play you've ever experienced, over 60 world-renowned courses to choose from, a top-shelf bar, great food, an amazing environment to just have a great evening out of the house. And you don't need a reason to have a good time, right? PlayXGolf.com/Cary. PlayXGolf.com/Cary.
Need a spot to cheer on the Canes? Join the Carolina Hurricanes crew at Carolina Ale House's Cary location for away game watch parties. They'll have giveaways, prizes, and more. Yeah, even Stormy will be there. Weather permitting, there'll be a lawn party with a giant TV next to the restaurant. Bring a folding chair and cause chaos. Carolina Ale House is an official partner of the Carolina Hurricanes. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs. Or visit CarolinaAleHouse.com/Canes for more info. Carolina Ale House. Ale, yeah.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here once again from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan. Today, we are at East Chapel Hill High School, and we're here to celebrate our newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Isabel Woke.
I've been volunteering a lot with teaching kids how to swim, and I just really love giving back to this sport that has given me so much. And it's really just inspires me and motivates me to see other people getting in the water and really learning to enjoy it.
I think Isabel has an automatic natural ability to be a leader, and it's really actually impressive. And I think it's great 'cause she has a lot of experience, and she's very humble and has a great personality and a great person to be around.
She is articulate, she is smart, she is empathetic, she is everything that you would hope most teenagers are.
So every once in a while you get lucky enough to meet a student who just operates in a different plane than the rest of us. And those students are the ones that make you wonder, what are they going to do later on in life? And she's one of those.
I'm so thankful for my coaches and my teammates and my parents who have just made this possible.
Congratulations, Isabel.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Charlie did not die from an overdose. Charlie was poisoned.
No other family should go through this. It's just horrific.
Go to safe.pharmacy. Use the free tool. Learn if the online pharmacy you're using is safe.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria, producing the program. Yesterday, her Panthers took Tet McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona, with the 8th overall selection. There was a collective groan from Panthers fans. I saw several online arguments. I did not take part in any. My read is that, man, if they could have traded out, they probably would have. And maybe they would have traded back and been able to take Tet McMillan, but nobody was interested enough to trade up to number 8, so they just took the guy they wanted to take anyway at number 8. Maybe I'm wrong. Mike Felder. It's Felder, the Substack, Sirius XM. He is everywhere at In the Bleachers on Twitter. Sir, thank you so much. I'm told it's a busy time, so I appreciate you carving out some of yours for us. Did the Panthers take a player worthy of the 8th overall pick in Tet McMillan?
I think they got the best wide receiver in the draft.
Okay.
So, I mean, you tell me. Like, I think if you can get the best wide receiver in the draft, sure. Could they have got some other guys? But the reality of it is you got to give Bryce some weapons. If you're not going to draft an offensive lineman, oh, sorry, hang on, let me close this thing down because I'm in a hotel room right now.
Oh, we're Mike Felder is in a hotel. So for the people listening on the radio, did you just close the blinds or something?
Yeah, just close the curtain.
Fine.
I'm in a hotel room right now, trying to get ready for day 2 of the draft. We're doing that on the BR app and on Mac,
That's
BR
right.
on Macs. So, but no, I think I like T-Mac. I think he's a really good football player. I think that the reality for me is people haven't seen him.
Right.
That's the reality. People haven't seen him. He reminds me a lot of. I'm going through my spreadsheets right now because I got to get them printed out. He reminds me a lot of Keenan Allen.
Okay.
Keenan Allen is actually a guy from North Carolina. But Keenan Allen is someone that is reliable, finds a way to get to the football. This guy, you see how big he is? 6'4" and change?
Yeah. And if he gets his hands on it, it's a catch.
It's his. It's his. Like, what's not to like about this when you have a young quarterback, still young, who's trying to get his bearings in the NFL? If you're not going to go out and get one of these offensive linemen, okay, and I think there are a lot of offensive linemen that they can get day 2, day 3. They can get those guys. So they can still continue to build up the offensive line to keep Bryce Young standing, up. And then you got to figure out what you're going to do on defense. I was very surprised to see like the lack of defensive backs picked in this draft. Like just draft overall, not just the Panthers, but lack of defensive backs drafted in that first round. So, which means we'll probably see a run on them today, which I'm excited for because that's when they let me shine on the show.
I mean, the Will Johnson is sitting there.
Yeah, I know. That's like I thought he was the best like true corner.
Right. You told us that a month ago.
Yeah, and when I say that, I know that Travis Hunter has a lot more skills. Will Johnson's longer, he's bigger, and he also is not asking you to let him play wide receiver too. He's just all he wants to do is play corner. That's all he wants to do, and he didn't go in the first round. So we'll see. We saw Malachi Starks as the only safety, I believe, that got picked in the first round.
Yep.
So R.J. Mickens, oh my gosh, I love him. So there's a lot of opportunity if you're looking for something in the secondary.
All right, let me ask you real quick because one of the debates I saw, and I was messing around with the mock draft simulator for like 2 days over and over and over again. I don't know. Apparently I have too much time on my hands. And I kept taking for the Panthers Tyler Warren. Would Warren have been a better pick as a weapon for Bryce Young than Tet McMillan?
That's a really hard question to answer because I love Warren. And we've talked about this before, and it's the hardest thing to talk about because he's like a bigger Aaron Hernandez. But we know that Aaron Hernandez is a bad man.
Yeah, and no longer signing. So,
yeah, but no, I look at it and it depends on how you use him, and that's the thing. And I'll be honest, I don't trust the Panthers. I don't trust what they're doing right now.
Right. Okay.
In the words of my co-host Stephen Hartzell, they are a very unserious organization at this point, and so. It is, I don't know that they would let this guy do what he does best, which is like the shovel pass, line up in the take direct snaps, line up flex, motion him out or shift him out, and do all the things that he does really well. All the things that make him work, all the things that make him dangerous. I don't know if they would let him do all those things.
Meaning Warren, all the things that make Warren dangerous.
Warren.
Yeah.
Yes, Warren. So I think getting McMillan is that's a more straight line approach.
Right.
See ball, get ball, let's go, let's play some football.
Mike Felder, it's Felder, the Substack, also SiriusXM, the Bleacher Report app. They can do the draft coverage this evening. All right, so who is? Let me ask you about Shador Sanders before we get into best available player and all of that. What's your level of surprise and why do you think Shador Sanders is still sitting there in day 2?
On a level of 1 to 10, it's a 12.
Right.
But also, that's my personal surprise with who he is as a player.
Right.
But then I start to talk to people that, talk to people. Our buddy Jonathan Jones, and you talk to Connor. I talked to my guy Connor Rogers, and I talked to a couple folks, like people that actually played in the NFL. The NFL does not like when you don't need them. The NFL they do not like it. They don't like that. Like when he came in, he was like he came in and was expecting okay, what are you going to do for me? Listen, this is Deion's kid.
Yeah.
This is the guy that made a video called Must Be the Money. And Shador, if he goes undrafted, he's just going to go work for his dad. He doesn't need the money.
Right. Well, he obviously he made a lot of money in college too. Right.
To me, that's more admirable. These guys are out there having multiple car crashes every game because they want to make sure they secure the health and safety of their family. His dad already did that. He's playing football. He's putting his body at risk because he loves football. But it feels like it threatens owners, threatens, GMs. They don't like the idea that he could hang it up. It's the same thing with Andrew Luck. But Andrew Luck, I think, was just obviously a much better talent.
Yeah.
But it was Andrew Luck's it's fine. I'll be done. I don't care.
He did that.
And he did do it. And now he's coaching at Stanford. And guess what? If Shador doesn't like what's going on, guess where he'll be coaching at? Colorado. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens today. I'm sure we're going to have this is going to be a big part of our pre-show meeting. Sure. But I do think that the NFL, they're so used to, and I don't know if predatory is the right word, but it's the word I'm going to use. They're so used to this predatory labor force that they can labor force that they can prey on that needs them.
Yep.
And is trying to get them on the cheapest they can. And I think that's the big reason that people keep saying arrogant and cocky, and it's he's not arrogant or cocky. He knows he's good. Kid threw for over 70% completions.
Right.
So many touchdowns. He's so comfortable in the pocket. He doesn't have to kowtow to you. He doesn't have to. You pick me or you don't. I don't care. But I'll take these meetings and I'll do it. But I know that I'm better. He knows he's better than Jackson Dart.
Right. Do you think he's better than Jackson Dart?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Are you kidding me? I like Jackson Dart a lot.
Right.
But Jackson Dart is a plussed up Will Levis? What is this conversation even? So I just don't, I'll tell you what, tonight, we will know that this is a problem of pride and ego from an NFL GM, NFL owner standpoint. If we see Jalen Milroe go before Shador, if we see Tyler Shuck go before Shador, if we see that happen, then we know that we've got a problem. And I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm not going to blow up his spot, but he said there's also a lot of issue with how Deion was to teams when he was playing.
Gotcha.
So it's the same ownership groups.
Pretty much,
they didn't like that Deion would Deion only after the Falcons. Who did Deion play for after the Falcons?
Well, Falcons, he went 49ers, Cowboys, Washington, Baltimore.
Right. And he would not take meetings with some of these teams. And it seems like these teams don't want to take his kid. Because the other part is, you also got to deal with Deion.
You do.
And he's not some bum off the street, right? He's not some guy who's yay, Hercules. My kid made it to the NFL.
Right.
He is very focused on the business of the NFL. He understands, and I think about this a lot, and to piggyback on what I do, which is mostly college football, think about it with NIL as well. This guy doesn't care. He has money. He's going to keep having money.
Right.
And his kid's going to keep having money. And so what he's focused on is putting his kid in the best position, and he's not going to let you talk to his kid any kind of way. And so you're going to have to deal with an NFL Hall of Famer,
right,
who can guide his kid through something that for most people is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. What we're looking at right now, realistically, what we're looking at as a second, and maybe if Shiloh gets picked in the next today or tomorrow, we're looking at a third time that this has happened.
Yeah.
And one of them is a Hall of Famer, so they know what they're doing.
Mike
They
Felder.
don't like that. They don't like it.
Mike Felder, it's Felder, the Substack. Check it out. Also, Bleacher Report on the app. They'll be doing draft coverage tonight, Sirius XM as well. All right, so the Panthers need a lot. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't taken anything. They didn't take a defensive player with their first pick. I'm okay. Whatever they did, it's clear that like all of these players are about the same level in terms of their overall impact on the game. They went and got Bryce Young, a weapon. That's fine. Give me an idea of who the best, because they need safety. I also think they need cornerback. So they're picking 25th or so in the second round. Who are cornerbacks and safeties that might be there when they pick to keep an eye on?
I mean, based on what's happening, they might be able to get, Nick Imawari. Like, that's what's crazy. These guys are, I went through the list of the safeties that got picked, and it was Malachi Starks from Georgia. I think we're going to see a run on safeties today, so maybe that's a trade to trade up and get that. But the reality is, whether it's Xavier Watts, kid from Notre Dame, kind of a jack of all trades, reminds me a little bit of like a larger Tyrann Mathieu. Like he finds the ball, he's able to punch it out, he can do all those things. Lathan Ransom from Ohio State is another one. That's going to be really interesting for me to see where he ends up falling. So I'm looking forward to it. But the way that I'm going to be honest with you. The way that they are treating linebackers, safeties in this draft, in the draft in general, I find it to be quite sickening. Because those are the backbones, not the backbones. The backbone of your defense is your defensive line. I understand that. Your edge rushers. But these are the guys. Look, and I've made this analogy many times. The Panthers, what they did is they went out and they bought a roof. Bryce Young.
Right.
They went out and they bought a roof. Where are you putting it?
Right. They needed to. They did not build the house first. They put the roof on first.
Right. Offensive line. That's your foundation. Defensive line. Those are the bricks on your brick house. And then, but the linebackers and the safeties and your tight ends, that's your pipes. That's your electrical. Like you got a house. Look, if something happened with your pipes, you're in trouble.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
So I just think that the key for them is I think safeties are so important, especially in today's NFL, because they are your glue guys. It used to be that linebackers, like in the days of Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, those were the guys that you had to fully rely on all the time. But the reality for me is you have to have a safety that can do, what do the kids say? Get you someone that can do both.
Yeah.
And you have to have that. And there are a bunch of guys that I really like, and I think later in the draft, I think Shiloh is a good pick, probably on day 3, not on day 2, but on day 3, I think Shiloh Sanders is a good pick because he reminds me a little bit of a guy, Deion Bush. But he spent a good amount of time in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's doing, and he can do a bunch of things, and he's going to help you on special teams. I think, again, if Xavier Watts is there, I'm scooping him up no matter what. That's an instant pick. And again, I don't know what's going on with Will Johnson, corner, or Nick Imawari,
right,
a safety. And I think people don't know I do know what's going on with Imawari. People don't know what to do with him because he could
do so many things.
He could be Cam Chancellor,
right?
He could be Isaiah Simmons.
I was thinking the same guy.
Or he could be Thomas Davis.
Those are all good things, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Isaiah Simmons has never really hit, right?
He's had flashes.
Right. The other guys hit.
The other guys hit, yeah, but he's had flashes. He's shown flashes. And so I just think that you've got to figure out what you want to do with him. And I think teams are scared because when you pick a tweener and you don't know what to do with them, then it makes you look stupid, especially if they go somewhere else, which is I think what we're seeing with Simmons. They go somewhere else and then they become a real deal player. So this is going to be a wild tonight and tomorrow.
All right, I need 2 more things from Mike Felder before we let him go. The first is, who is the best edge rusher left on the board?
I really like JT from Ohio State.
Right. I can't say his name either. Good. You've got a lot of time to figure that out. Yeah, fine.
Tuimailua. I got it. I love him. He's big effort guy, big energy. I like Ashton Gillett and the kid from Louisville.
Okay.
I like him a lot. And
what about Mike Greene from Marshall?
Mike Greene from Marshall is good. I do like him. The biggest thing for me, and I think about this a lot, and I thought about it with Ashton Genty, I'm glad he didn't get penalized for it. When you're not playing in a major conference,
right,
it's like a double step up. And that's the part that's going to be really interesting, is how Mike Greene, how he steps up, because I think he's a really good football player. We just haven't seen as much as we saw of guys like that we saw get drafted last night, like Mykal Williams and Carter. So this is going to be it's going to be a busy day.
Right. One more thing. Defensive tackle, because I think you can make an argument the Panthers should take another one of those, even though they address that position in free agency. You can certainly be nice to have one on your roster for at least another 4 years. So do you like Zadarius Alexander from Toledo or TJ Sanders from South Carolina? I mean, is there anybody of the available defensive tackles that stands out to you?
So I like both of those guys. I like them both. I'm going to throw this out there, and I don't know if it's a second or third round thing, or maybe it's a day 3 thing. I like JJ Pegues. JJ Pegues from Ole Miss. I like him a lot. Super athletic guy, can move. And again, once you get him pointed in the right direction, I think he's going to be able to go out and make plays. So I like JJ Pegues. The kid from Oregon, Caldwell.
Okay.
I really like him. I also think Jordan Birch is certainly a day 2 prospect. Kid that started out at South Carolina, highly touted kid coming out of high school.
Right.
And ends up at Oregon. I think that he is super, I think that's a viable option as well, in addition to the names that you mentioned. So it's going to be they're going to have to make a decision. That's the whole thing, is you have to make a decision. And Pegues, Birch, they demonstrated high level of athleticism. So those are the guys that I'd be targeting. Obviously, you mentioned TJ Sanders, which is another one, and I just think that there's a lot of defensive line talent. And then, I'm scrolling up right now.
Okay.
Tyler Barron at Miami.
Right.
I've got him listed as a 5 tech, but this is a guy that can kick down inside. Same thing with Ingram Dawkins from Georgia. He can play 5, kick down inside, especially on pass rush downs. So there's a lot of, and I try really hard to separate my 5 techs from my defensive tackles.
Sure. I don't even know what the difference is, but that's fine, because there are people out there who do, and that's okay. So I just nod my head.
So you get your center, right? Right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Guard.
Right.
Tackle.
Right.
Over the center. 0.
0, okay.
Shade. Line up here. That's
right.
1.
Okay.
Then you're here. You're a 2.
Okay.
3.
3, okay.
So your guard's here. That's your 3.
Gotcha.
Tackle. 4-eye is when you're lined up inside the tackle.
Okay.
4-eye. Eye for inside.
Okay, and 5 is over the tackle?
Is on top of the tackle.
There you go. Now I just learned something.
Yeah, and then you can get to your 7s over outside tight end.
Oh, man.
Then you get to your wide 9s, which is what Florida State used to do back in the day where they ruled the ACC.
Right.
Wide 9s, just guys in racer stances ready to go get the quarterback.
Right.
So, yes.
Something like that is what the Panthers might need, but they need a lot. They need a lot on defense. Mike Felder. It's Felder, the Substack. Get it. I appreciate you pulling the shades for us, but I didn't mind the light shining on your beautiful face. So enjoy the draft, day 2. I know day 2 and day 3 are I think day 3 is your favorite day.
Yeah,
but
they're fun.
Enjoy it.
I get to do day 3 with Connor Rogers, a guy that I've been friends with for a long time, who left Bleacher Report to go work for NBC New York, and they brought him back to do day 3 because it's a slog. It's hard. It hurts, but you got to get it done. And then after day 3, you know what I'm doing? My favorite thing in the world.
Cooking.
I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go get in an Uber and go to the airport. My daughter's got a swim meet.
Love it.
On Sunday, so I'm gonna go get to be a dad, which is really cool.
You're the man. I appreciate your time, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. You take it easy.
You got it. Mike Felder here on the Adam Gold Show. We are, if nothing else, we are pro dad duty. All right. When we come back, we will stretch. We will place bets. I will ask a Hurricanes, maybe 2 Hurricanes trivia questions next.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. There's a major shortage of mental health professionals, especially in rural areas. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Dr. Joseph Pino of Devant Health tells us about an exciting new program that's expanding mental health care in eastern North Carolina. He explains the need, especially among military families.
Military families frequently face moves across the country, long deployments, and added stress that comes with military life. And those experiences can lead to anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health conditions. The stigma around mental health often prevents people from seeking care.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
From the food we eat to the clothes we wear, agriculture touches every corner of our daily lives. I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agricultural Institute at NC State University. With the world's population growing, we need people equipped and trained to meet the needs of our future. In our program, we rise to meet that challenge every day, and our students are engaged and invested. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
If Andrei Svechnikov watched Eric Cole highlight tapes and cause chaos.
Mm-hmm. Hey, hashtag, you didn't even mean to do that, did you?
I didn't. Well, that's the old one.
I know, but
right?
It's still relevant.
Now we're raising up. Maybe we should go back to cause chaos.
I know, we need to go back to causing chaos.
This is interesting. I did kind of subconsciously bring that out.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria, she is on the ones and twos. All right, I'll ask the first of two Hurricanes trivia questions. In Hurricanes history, there are two players who have had 4 points in overtime in playoff games. 4 scoring points. Only 2. Who are they? Who are they? Hurricanes to have 4 points in playoff overtimes. So you can put your answer on Twitter at AGoldFan, at _the_Ictoria.
That's me. Yes.
Or
and
you
can see my poll.
There you
question.
go. Excellent. And you can also put it in the chat on, just go to YouTube and search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, you get to us.
Yeah.
So do that.
Two
Hurricanes.
talk in the chat.
Oh,
by
I'm
the
sure.
way.
2 Hurricanes with 4 scoring points in playoff overtimes. Who are they? One of them is an active player, by the way. All right. Now, for the Hurricanes only, not for any other franchise. Right now, it's time to stretch.
Okay, so with the draft going on, I saw this article about the 10 best undrafted players, because I know everybody's talking about who's drafted. Well, these are the 10 best undrafted players in NFL history. I did not make this list, but someone did. So, starting off with number 10, they start with Dick Night Train Lane.
Nice.
Then they go to Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah.
Tony Romo is next. Priest Holmes. And then number 6, we've got Rod Smith. 5, John Randall.
John Randall.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, I believe, right?
Yep, I think so. Number 4, James Harrison. 3, Antonio Gates.
Gosh.
2, Warren Moon. And do you want to guess? Just take a shot at it.
Undrafted?
The number 1 undrafted pick in NFL history.
I'm surprised Adam Thielen wasn't earlier on the list. He wouldn't be ahead of Warren Moon. So,
yeah.
Who is it?
It is Kurt Warner.
Oh, that's right.
Who never got to hear that. So, yeah. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I didn't make this list, so you can at me, but I didn't make it.
Kurt Warner won a Super Bowl.
He did.
He's not better than Warren Moon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So there you go. So there's still hope, just in case a player doesn't get drafted in the next couple of days. One thing that we can hope for, that we don't make this list, is the dirtiest cities in America. Now, I bring up this article because obviously one of our North Carolina cities did make the top 10
Oh,
list
nice. Good.
of dirtiest cities. And, it's number 3, actually. But how they looked at this was because there was a website that analyzed 12.3 million sanitation-related, quote, 311 complaints over the past year, whether it be garbage and or waste. And so, Baltimore was the dirtiest in America, apparently.
I love Baltimore.
I know, I've never been to Baltimore, but I know that you're very familiar with that area. Yeah. Now, do you want to guess which city in North Carolina made number 3?
Fayetteville.
No, it's actually where my Carolina Panthers are, in Charlotte.
Oh, really? Dirty?
Charlotte, the Queen City, is apparently dirty because...
I would not have guessed Charlotte.
No.
Charlotte apparently has a lot of dirt.
There's there's a lot of people, and people are dirty.
That's true.
So it says that 31,112 per 100,000 people. So complaints, I guess. 31,000 complaints per 100,000 people. So, yeah, well, how about you clean yourself up there, Queen City?
There you go.
We could clean up with some bets, probably.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
By the way, I'm on a good run of anytime goal scorers.
Oh.
I think I've hit 3 in a row.
That's good.
I hit Martinook on Tuesday. I forget who I hit on Wednesday, but I hit Michael Nyes last night.
Nice. Hey,
nice.
You should keep it going then. Yeah.
I'm going to try.
Nice.
I'm going to try.
That's very nice.
There you go.
So, well, I will start things off with the first game that's happening today. Capitals, Canadiens. They're in Montreal. You know what? Like I said, I got to stick with what I said. I feel like if there's ever going to be a sweep, it might be the Kings, but it could also be the Capitals. So give me the... Nope, I'm not going to do it. I changed my mind. Give me the Montreal Canadiens to actually get one win because Game 4s are crazy. So they're an underdog, but it's only plus 100. So maybe the Canadiens can get one win today.
Well, they're only down in the series 2-0.
Oh, that's right.
It's Ottawa
Yeah.
that's 3-0 down. I actually still think Montreal can win this series. I do.
Okay.
I'm not giving up on them just yet. So coming up on Sunday, the Liverpool can win the Premier League with 4 matches to spare. They only need 1 point. They're going to get it. They're going to kill Tottenham. Mo Salah assist and a Luis Diaz goal plus 341. That's a parlay. Mo Salah to assist, Luis Diaz to score plus 341. Doesn't have to be on the same goal. I think Liverpool's going to score 4.
Okay. All right, that's a lot of scoring for that football with the beat. So next up, I'm going to do Kings and Oilers. Oilers need to win something, but the Kings have a ton of momentum. Give me the Oilers to try to get it together tonight or next up. And that, I'm going to go with the over 5.5. Might be high scoring, so that's plus 175.
All right, we're going to go to Montreal real quick. We'll just give you an anytime goal score. I think the Canadiens win tonight. Juraj Slafkovsky. Plus 290 for an anytime goal scorer tonight.
You have a third? You could do it. We have time for another one.
I gave you Jordan Martinook. I kind of want to go Eric Robinson, but I'm going to go Jack Roslovic tonight at plus 500. Anytime goal scorer, Jack Roslovic, plus 500. Wall of Sound next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Canes are back in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's Game 3.
Slipped it out in front, back to Gostisbehere. Second chance, he scores! Persistence is named Shane Gostisbehere, and we're tied at 1.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 7. Puck Drop at 8.
Martinook up high, he scores! Jordan Martinook shorthanded, it's 2-1 Carolina.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain or just struggling with daily activities because of discomfort in your knees, back, or other parts of your body? Well, I've got great news. It's called DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, a solution that can help you get back to feeling like yourself again without the risks of invasive surgery or long-term prescription drug use. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness is a regenerative medicine clinic. Their innovative treatment options address the root cause of your pain to promote healing and prevent re-injury for long-lasting pain relief. If you have arthritis, joint pain, sports injuries, or other conditions, their highly trained medical providers will develop a cutting-edge treatment plan tailored just for you with little to no downtime. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness can get you back to doing the things you love. Call DaVita Med Spa and Wellness today, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Welcome home, where life happens. At Baker Home Exteriors, we bring Baker Roofing's century of excellence to your doorstep. From roofing and siding to gutters and more, we transform houses into dream homes. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and let's build something beautiful together.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
He has a ton of ability. It's a big transition for him. So every time he gets a chance to skate with the team, every time he gets a chance to meet with the coaches, that helps him get ready to be on the ice and help the team. I think it's a great learning experience for him. The time he's getting around the team is helping him integrate and make sure he's ready to go when we need him.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. That was Eric Tulsky from, now almost 2 weeks ago. Signed Alexander Nikishin. Well, they haven't signed him. They agreed to a contract with Alexander Nikishin, so much, though, that they've already made the results of that agreement public. I know there have been comments from comments from his agent.
I thought we were talking about you too.
No, I'm not really concerned about that.
Theme today.
But there have been comments from his agent. Don't understand what Carolina's doing. What Carolina's doing is keeping options open if they want him to go play in the American Hockey League. Once he signs the contract, that's off the table. So they are trying to keep the option of him on a professional tryout going to the American Hockey League and getting a game or two. Now, tonight is Game 2 of Chicago's series with Rockford. They are in Rockford. The Wolves lost Game 1 of their series 2-1 in overtime. And they have to win tonight to keep the series alive. And my guess is that, I don't know if he'd play a Game 3, which is Sunday, also in Rockford, or if they're hoping they win these 2 games without him, and that maybe he draws into a larger series down the road. But that's the reason why he hasn't signed his contract yet. My suspicion is that it really is just a formality. But he's still, I don't know if he traveled to Newark or not. But, he wasn't going to play in a playoff game unless it was an emergency anyway. And that's, I think, what a lot of fans missed. He wasn't going to just draw in over the players who have played so well this year. No matter whether or not he's better than they are, he's not better than they can play now. You're foolish if you think he walks in having not played in the system, having played in the KHL, which is basically the American Hockey League, and walks onto the ice and is better than Shane Gostisbehere or Dmitry Orlov or Sean Walker. Or Brent Burns. He's not better than any of those players the way they are playing and the fact that they have been playing. So I can't help you there. But as soon as the AHL isn't an option, I'm sure he signs the contract. With that said, we can do the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, let's get right to it, and we will start with the Panthers draft pick. Tetairoa, McMillan. He is originally from Hawaii, but I guess he grew up in Southern California, and he was excited to be picked and ready to take the Panthers to the next level.
Oh, man, I think it's going to be amazing. First things first, obviously, Bryce Young, Cali to Cali connection. That's immediately. And as well as, the other receivers, Xavier, Adam Thielen. And I feel like, our OC, Coach Izzik, will definitely, put it together. I know Coach Canales calls the plays, and, I'm confident in them, and they're confident in me. And, I'm just ready, to take the Panthers to the next level.
That's it. Let's go. Now, he and Bryce have familiarity with one another, both Southern Cal guys. I know there's video of them, Dave Canales and Dan Morgan, calling Bryce to inform him of the pick, but he was watching the draft, so he knew the pick.
Yes. Apparently he got on a table.
Bryce,
with excitement. I don't know. I haven't seen said table dance, but that's
Didn't
the
have
word
that.
on the street.
Didn't have that on the bingo card,
Yeah.
which is fine. It doesn't really, you celebrate the way you want to celebrate, Bryce.
Sure.
It certainly is, since it's not during a game, they can't give you a
Flag you for
penalty.
that, yeah.
Can't give you a penalty
No.
for using a table as a prop.
Nope.
Celebrate the way you want to celebrate. Mike Tannenbaum.
Quadrants. Yeah.
Jump into a cake.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Mike Tannenbaum, who, again, I like to always point out, ruined two franchises in the same division, Jets and Miami, now with ESPN, on the Panthers drafting McMillan at number 8.
I had Matthew Golden rated higher, and I would have taken Golden. I like McMillan. I think for Bryce Young, who's an undersized quarterback, the bigger catching radius. This guy reminds me a lot of Keyshawn Johnson we had in New York. Keyshawn, a big catching radius. That's what an undersized quarterback needs. But Matthew Golden ran a 4.29, played out of 4.29. Outside of Travis Hunter, the most explosive player, receiver of the draft. He was higher on my board. And for me, for a team that needs to score points, that needs explosive chunk plays, I think Golden was a better fit, the better player for the Panthers. I think McMillan will be good, taking nothing away from him, but the better choice was Golden.
Right. Was it Tannenbaum also who said that, with Bryce, he might have just said it there and I wasn't paying attention, with Bryce, because he's so tiny, he can't see receivers who are also tiny.
Microscopic.
Yeah. So, get him binoculars. I don't know. Look, if you're good, you're good. And most people had Tet McMillan as the best available wide receiver. It's not like he's running in quicksand. The difference between, a 4.45 or whatever, or even a 4.5, is not that much. There's something called football speed. And I'm not vouching for Tet McMillan. I'm not sure I would have taken a wide receiver at number 7, but the Panthers identified the player they wanted. They went out and got him. Now let's see how it works out. All right, Booger McFarland points out to us that nobody took Shador Sanders. That is a truism. and why that might be the case.
It's amazing how the NFL views these quarterbacks. If you can't do the wild things anymore, if you can't throw the off-platform throws, if you can't throw the football 70 yards down the field, they don't necessarily view you maybe as a first-round quarterback. I think that's what the NFL says. I disagree. I think Shador Sanders should have gone in the first round. He does the things that a quarterback needs to do, and he does them well. Makes really good decisions, throws the football accurately, has good timing. I think he should have been a first-round pick, but I think the NFL is telling us they want wild things like they did with Cam Ward with their first-round quarterbacks, and they're saying Shador Sanders just doesn't do that for them.
You know what Cam Ward also does well? When Cam Ward throws an interception, a lot of people will go, wow, why did he do that? I guess the NFL likes that too. Look, there's a lot of truth to what Booger McFarland had to say there. And it's not about it's a wow thing. It's what they are looking for at times is, can you do something exceptionally well? The reality is Shador Sanders probably doesn't do anything exceptionally well, except he is apparently very accurate. Accuracy is
a good thing.
Kind of hard to teach.
Mm-hmm.
So, and his arm looks good enough to me. I've seen enough games that he played in to know that, yeah, he seems like he could throw the ball far enough. All right, one more thing, and this is about the Carolina Hurricanes. Rod Brindamore gets often asked about, well, the other team's going to do this, the other team is going to do that. Yep, the other team, the Devils, are going to come out firing tonight because they trailed the series 2-0, and they're on home ice. Is Rod worried about the Devils?
Well, everybody's making little adjustments as you go. I mean, there's no doubt. I think you just have to be aware of it and then try not to make too much of it. Like, I think it's about your game, and maybe they've done this. We got to be aware to it, but what's our game? Like, you really have to focus on what you do well. And we'll worry about that and get that right, which usually takes up all your energy, to be honest.
There you go. Take care of you. It's really, these two teams have now played each other 6 times. No secrets. Sheldon Keefe said it before the series. Says, the Hurricanes are not difficult to prepare for. They are difficult to play against. And that's what Carolina needs to be again tonight. Difficult to play against. The fascinating thing for me will be the matchup. I think we can all assume that Sheldon Keefe will take Nico Hischier away from Jordan Staal. So, and Staal is probably going to end up drawing the third line, which is Cotter. I wrote it down here. Cotter, Cody Glass, and Steph Nason. So Staal, Martinook, and Stankoven have to do what they do, which is hem them in. I think they could score. I think the fourth line could score tonight, too. I wouldn't be shocked to see Roslovic, Robinson, and Carrier get on the score sheet tonight.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if Carolina wins, it's because of that. It will be bottom 6 scoring that gets Carolina across the line tonight in a 3-0 lead. If the Hurricanes win, it'll be because of that. The Aho line is going to draw Nico Hischier and company, and I would imagine that the line of Mercer, Bratt, and Eric Halla is going to get Kokoniemi, Hall, and Svechnikov. That's the way I would do it. All right, when we come back in the roundtable, more on the draft. We have the Panther angle covered with Vashti Hurt. And, of course, Jeremy Greene back for a second day in a row, who is in Green Bay recovering from round 1. Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but that doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL draft approaches, insight on free agents and prospects, plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 8. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
I have a scenario for you. You and the fellas were going to play golf, but life got in the way. Yard work. Maybe the kids had a game. Adam Gold here for X Golf in Cary, and here's what you need to do. Get a bunch of couples together. If you're into golf, experience the best simulator play you've ever seen. And if you're not, just hang out, watch the game, relax with a cold adult beverage, some great food as well. Way more than golf. It's fun. McGregor Village, off of US 64. PlayXGolf.com/Cary.
Need a spot to cheer on the Canes? Join the Carolina Hurricanes crew at Carolina Ale House's Cary location for away game watch parties. They'll have giveaways, prizes, and more. Yeah, even Stormy will be there. Weather permitting, there'll be a lawn party with a giant TV next to the restaurant. Bring a folding chair and cause chaos. Carolina Ale House is an official partner of the Carolina Hurricanes. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs. Or visit CarolinaAleHouse.com/Canes for more info. Carolina Ale House. Ale, yeah.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Let me just give you a quick story real quick. My wife had contacted another company for windows. I saw the price and I went, let me just make sure that that's in the ballpark. And I texted Patrick. You came out to my house the next day, which was awesome, and we will save tons of money and get more work done. How do you do that?
I mean, we're there to help, so we put together packages that work for our customers. You know, we have high-quality products, and our motto has been quality you can afford for a very long time. So, you know, we do a lot of business. We have a lot of options, and we just have done so much business over the years that we get good pricing from our manufacturers, and we don't try to kill people on pricing. We're here to help. That's what we're here for. That's why we've been around for so long.
And the job can be broken up into 2 or even 3 trips. It is incredible. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, best customer service in the industry, incredible work, and they stand by it forever. 800-672-4348.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia, Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Roundtable in just a second. I don't know if this is breaking news or not, so let's not even play the sounder, but because I'm sure this has been out there for a bit. I've been so focused on the Hurricanes and the draft. Terrence Arsenault, who just played at Houston this past year, has transferred into NC State. Wolfpack getting some stuff done in the transfer portal. And we didn't talk about it, but Drake Powell from UNC has declared for the NBA draft and intends to stay in the draft. It's interesting to me because he is not a guarantee to be a first-round pick. He might have gotten a first-round guarantee from somebody, but right now he is one of those players in the 25 to 50 range. And if you're in that range, there's no guarantee at all you're a first-round pick, but you do what you do. Drake, I love the way he came on during the last half of the season. All right, it is Roundtable time.
Camelot. It's only a model.
For all I know, because this is the hardest working woman in sports media, Vashti Hurt, CarolinaBlitz.com, at Keep Blitzen, among other social media accounts. She is at, I'm sure, Bank of America Stadium on Mint Street in Charlotte. There's press conferences, all sorts of stuff, so we might have to be quick with her. I will say hi, and we will also welcome in Jeremy Greene from Green Bay. He is at the draft. He was with us yesterday, but we can't get enough of Jeremy Greene. Vashti, back to you. How are you? Is there a palpable buzz around Bank of America Stadium?
Yeah, I think it is. Literally, the timing couldn't have been better. We just finished up our introductory press conference with Nalo, or T-Mac, as he prefers to be called. And so it was good vibes. I think everybody around the building is excited about this pick, which is normally the case. And fans seem to be bought in as well.
All right, so before I get to Jeremy to analyze the actual pick, were you surprised that this was the pick? And can you tell from Dave Canales that this was the guy he wanted all along?
I actually was surprised. I thought that the Panthers would go defense, and I kind of was like, the Alonzo Mourning gif where he's like, he shakes his head and then he thinks about it, and he was like, okay. And that's how I felt. I literally had that reaction, and I think that, and Dave Canales said yesterday that after that fifth pick, that really opened up the board for them, and they went from there. I don't know if that's who they wanted all along. I think that he was one of their top two guys. And if he was there when they picked at 8, they were going to get him or maybe possibly another player. But I do think he was top 2 for them.
Okay, I wonder if the other guy might have been Mason Graham. Let me bring in Jeremy Greene, who went all the way out to Green Bay to stay in a barn where he had cell phone service only in one little corner of the barn overlooking Lake Michigan. Sir, what was your reaction to Tet McMillan?
I actually found cell phone coverage in another spot, so now I'm in the opposite side of the barn.
Nice.
But I like the Tet McMillan pick. He got killed a lot during the process because at one point he said, I don't watch a lot of tape. And I don't like to watch tape, and we being draft analysts, we take that of, well, you just don't love the game.
Right.
I've seen Tet now 3 times through the process, and every time he comes off as very likable and very honest and very sincere. And sometimes in this process that doesn't do you any favors because you are honest, and people take your honesty for weakness. The football is my job. I don't have to love it for it to be my job. A lot of people don't love their job. They're still great at it. Tet is a big-bodied hands catcher. The last year in Arizona wasn't great, but nothing for Arizona was great.
Right.
So he comes into Carolina. The only qualm I have with it is now you have 4 receivers with T-Mac, Thielen, and Coker. None of them are great over-the-top guys. T-Mac is a contested catch guy. This is what he does. He's Mike Evans light. I always hate doing comps because people hear that and go, oh, he's going to be Mike Evans. Nobody's going to be Mike Evans. He plays the same way. And I think, look, I love the pick. I told you, Adam, I don't love any of the pass rushers at 8. I think it's too high. And I think the league showed us. Jalen Walker went at 15. Michael Williams went at 11 to one of the only spots I liked. Then you saw James Pierce go late, and Donovan Ezraku didn't go in the first round at all. So Carolina they did what good teams do. They looked at the board. They said, what can I not get the next time I come up on the board? And that was a playmaker like Ted McMillan. And I'm good with it. I think it was a solid pick. I gave it a nice B+ in my grades this morning.
All right, Jeremy, before I go back to Vashti, let's just say after Ashton Genty went at number 6, is there a can't-miss first-round excellent player after that, or are we talking about essentially the same level of player regardless of the position?
You got a lot of the same guys. I think Kelvin Banks at 9 to New Orleans has a really high upside. I think Jahdae Barron at 20 to Denver has a really safe floor. And then you've got some other guys that I think have a pretty safe floor with some upside. That would be the 2 tight ends. I was shocked Colston Loveland went ahead of Tyler Warren.
Mm-hmm.
Asheville, North Carolina native Ben Johnson did a great job of keeping that quiet because I didn't hear it one time throughout the process, taking Loveland ahead of Warren. I think those 2 guys will be really, really good. That's what this draft is. This was the draft of really, really good. You had Travis Hunter, you had Abdul Carter, and then you had a lot of players that they're really, really good. I don't know how many stars you're going to have, but I think you're going to have a lot of really good talent. And I look at the board today, and this might be the best second round I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of everybody said there was a lot of same, even early in the first round, all the way through into the second round. To Vashti Hurt, CarolinaBlitz.com, at Keep Blitzen on Twitter. I know there is a connection between McMillan and Bryce Young. How much of that do you think played into this selection?
I mean, according to McMillan, a lot. I mean, yesterday in his post-draft interview, he basically said, yeah, his work got him there, but he gave Bryce credit for going into the offices of Dan Morgan and Dave Canales and saying, we have to get this guy. And so if he's saying that, I'm going to believe him. I'm going to believe that Bryce, went to bat for T-Mac and said, in addition to them what they saw on film, but went to bat for him and say this is what we need to do well on offense. And I think the more telling thing is that they listen to him, and that shows a lot of faith and confidence in Bryce as he heads into a pivotal third year.
Yeah.
I asked McMillan about those comments where he said he didn't like watching film, or the assumption was he didn't love the game. He chalked it up to being young and dumb. He said that he was a freshman in college, and he said he wouldn't be where he's at if he didn't love the game or if he didn't watch film. So,
by the way, you get more out of athletes, players with your questions than anybody I have ever heard. So let me ask you, first of all, where do you think they go next? We've been hearing, we know it was a bad defense last year. They haven't used a top 3 pick on a defensive player since they took only defensive players, I think, a few years back. Actually, I guess it was it Derek Brown? Was that the last time they took a defensive player early, or J.C. Horn? Where do they go next, do you think? Where do you think they're leaning?
I think Dan Morgan tries to trade into earlier into the second round and get one of those 2 edge rushers and or the safety, and I don't want to butcher his name, out of South Carolina.
Yeah, Imanwari.
And I think he goes after one of those 3 guys. Those are areas that they have to address. There are only 3 safeties on the roster right now for the Panthers, and obviously they need help at edge. But lucky enough for them, those players are still available. You have guys who have first-round grades who are available, or who will be available early in the second round. So I'm sure Dan is on the phones trying to do what he needs to do to secure one of those picks.
All right, so as we go back to Jeremy Greene, if you were looking at an edge rusher or a safety, and you can get, I don't know how much further they can move up without giving up too much of a future, but who would you be targeting, Jeremy?
Oh, for me, it's Donovan Ezraku. I've never been more surprised that a guy didn't go in the first round in all the years that I've been doing this. if you had told me before this draft started that Donovan Jackson would go in the first round and Donovan Ezeraku wouldn't, I probably wouldn't have talked to you anymore. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And then it actually happened. And I watched it in real time of how did anybody get there. I mean, if I'm Dan Morgan, you got Cleveland that's got 2 picks at the top of round 2. If they're willing to come down, I would have never thought they would have gotten what they got for 2 with Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
That's one of the most shocking trades in NFL history and will go down as an absolute disaster. But if you could get up there to get Ezeraku, I think that is – you get him, you get T-Mac, that's an A draft. And then you take the depth of this class, you take how good it is in day 3, you throw some money at priority undrafted free agents, and you put an influx of talent into this team. So edge rusher for me, I'd go Ezeraku on the high side. I don't mind Eamon Worry. Eamon Worry was one of those that I think the media got a hold of.
Right.
Because he's a giant. I mean, he's 6'3", 230-some-odd pounds, and one of the fastest safeties I've ever seen. The problem is he's not a refined prospect. He's really good in coverage, but not a great tackler. And I'm not sure. I like the idea of him and Morig together. For me, it would be Ezeraku is the clear one. Eamon Worry kind of falls more into that consolation prize. I'm not real sure how high he goes. He might go in the first 5 picks tonight. He might also kind of fall in the middle of the second round. Because there's another safety in this class that's pretty good, too. Kevin Winston Jr. from Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
That Carolina might stay put and take him. He would have been a first-round pick had he not gotten hurt.
What about R.J. Mickens from Clemson? I know we just talked to Mike Felder. He loves R.J. Mickens.
I love R.J. Mickens. I know R.J.'s dad, Ray, that played for the New York Jets. I love R.J. Mickens. That's more of a day 3.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to go as high because he's a smaller guy. And
gotcha.
Coverage guy, I like him a lot. And safety's hard in this class because you got those top 3 guys, and for me there were levels between each. I thought Malachi was really safe. Eamon Worry was the upside. Kevin Winston's the wild card. And then you get to day 3 and go, let's take a shot. Whatever we can find because there's not a ton of them. Some of them are freak athletes but can't play dead in a cowboy movie. Some of them are really good, but they're about as athletic as a groundhog. And you've got to pick your poison. But look, there's still a ton of players. Dan Morgan, I guarantee, has got a board of guys that's at least 5 to 10 deep that he goes, these are high second-round grades for me. There were a lack of first-round grades in this class. There were a ton of second-round grades.
And you should still be getting starting level players in the second round. Finally, for Vashti Hurt, what can you tell us about what's next? How many of Tet's future teammates are around? Have we heard from Bryce? Do we expect to hear from him soon? And just some of the buzz that's going on around Mint Street.
Ironically, I asked that question as well. You're on a roll, Adam.
Thank you.
I said, were there any teammates who were there to greet you when you came to the facility for the first time? And he said Bryce was here.
Yeah.
So Bryce was here when he got here. He hasn't spoken to any of the other receivers. I know they had some voluntary off-season workouts earlier this week. But of course they're off now. But Bryce was here to welcome him. I'm sure the Panthers will put that video out later. Xavier actually tweeted and welcomed him to Carolina last night. So, but I think the only guy we haven't heard from Bryce, and we just had a press conference with Bryce earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably won't hear from him again for maybe another month or so. But all signs show that he's extremely happy with this pick.
Yeah, he was. I know they had him on video, or they had Dan Morgan, Dave Canales, and David Tepper on video talking to Bryce about it. Do they get an interpreter so Tet understands what Xavier Liga is saying?
I mean, if you listen closely, you can put it all together.
Oh, man, you always ask the best questions. Vashti Hurt, CarolinaBlitz.com, at Keep Blitzing on Twitter. Jeremy Greene at ESPN Draft Nerd, ESPN Asheville, who's in a barn in Green Bay. somewhere near Green Bay, 45 minutes outside of Green Bay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you both very soon.
Thanks, Adam.
Jeremy and Vashti, thank you very much. All right, when we come back, we got some other things to cover. We have the second. I'll tell you where I think they should go, even though it might not be where you think they should go. I'll tell you where I think the Panthers should go. I'll give you one other surprise for me. We didn't even talk about it with Jeremy that we will get to. And it's time to dig back into some numbers and thoughts for Game 3 tonight. Ben, the stats guy, he will come by. We're not calling him stats nerd, are we?
No, I just put stat guy on the last one. So
Ben, the stat guy.
I mean, but nerd's fine. Yeah. I'm a band nerd, or I used to be a band nerd, so
right.
I'll own it.
I'm a hockey nerd.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're sports nerds here, so
very much so.
It's a thing.
All of that. We got a lot of stuff to do still. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. There's a major shortage of mental health professionals, especially in rural areas. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Dr. Joseph Pino of Devant Health tells us about an exciting new program that's expanding mental health care in eastern North Carolina. He explains the need, especially among military families.
Military families frequently face moves across the country, long deployments, and added stress that comes with military life. And those experiences can lead to anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health conditions. The stigma around mental health often prevents people from seeking care.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Your background may not include agriculture, but 2 years at the Agricultural Institute will prepare you for a career in it. Whether you are a military veteran with an arsenal of skills, kickstarting your second career, or about to graduate high school, the Agricultural Institute at NC State University is the right place for you. Nurture your passion and find your career. Learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
I did love that Rod video with him, though, when he was trying to communicate.
Yeah, you speak hockey.
And he was like, it's okay, you don't need to know this, you know hockey. And I was like, oh, heartstrings. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos. All right, before we get to taking another look at Game 3 with our guy, Ben Seltzer, Ben the stat guy, Elliot Friedman from Sportsnet in Canada, 32 Thoughts, the podcast, one of the premier insiders, with some clarification on Alexander Nikishin. Now, you have to understand two things here. One is that Nikishin has two different agents. One of them is Russian, the other here in North America. Sometimes we lose something in the translation, and sometimes not everything is presented to the Russian agent in terms of what the team is trying to do. This team has refused, the Hurricanes, has refused to even entertain any discussion over Alexander Nikishin being part of a trade. As many trades as they have tried to make, have made over the last 2 years, 3 years, whether it's Timo Meier or Bo Horvat, who went to the Islanders, or Mikko Rantanen, all of the trades that the Hurricanes were trying to make, JT Miller or Elias Pettersson from Vancouver. The number one ask is always Alexander Nikishin. Has always been. And the Hurricanes were like, no, that's not happening. Let's figure something else out. So they are not, after publicly agreeing to a contract with Nikishin, they are not going to do anything to jeopardize the player. The delay has simply been, if we want you to play in the American Hockey League for a playoff game or 2 playoff games, whatever it is, we need to wait to sign the contract so you can be eligible to play in those games. Because once he signs an NHL contract, his entry-level deal, he is not eligible because he was not on Carolina's roster and by virtue of that, the AHL roster by a certain period of time. And I don't know if it's you can't do it if you're an overseas player. I don't know the rules. But Eric Tulsky the other day, it was Monday, said, yeah, if he's ineligible to play in the AHL playoffs if he signs his entry-level deal, which is why everything's agreed. We are just waiting. Now, I don't know why they haven't sent him to Chicago to play, and the Wolves, by the way, have a playoff game tonight that they must win to stay alive. If they win, they play Sunday, which would be a winner-take-all game in that series. The opening round of the AHL playoffs are best of 3. The team without home ice advantage gets the first game, and then the other team gets the next 2. The Wolves lost 2-1 on home ice in overtime. So now they're in Rockford trying to stay alive. They got to win twice. Would make sense to send Nikishin there, but they're obviously not doing that for whatever reasons, and I'm just going to trust that they know what they're doing. The North American agent, Ryan Barnes, today said, "We have been working with Carolina on Nikishin's status. Our Russian partners are simply excited to see Alexander play for the Hurricanes, and so are we. It's going to happen. It just isn't going to happen this postseason, barring, I think, probably 2 injuries. I don't think they would put Nikishin in without having more than a practice and a half. They practiced for 30 minutes yesterday. If they haven't had a full practice. Look, if they wrap this series up quickly, then they'll have 2 practices or 3, in which case, yeah, then he becomes next man up. But they're not there yet. Just relax. They're not jeopardizing Nikishin the player. It would be a monumental failure if they did. All right, now let's dig back into Game 3 with our friend Ben. All right, we got Game 3 coming up this evening. Ben Seltzer, Ben the Stats Guy, is here. You're a Devils fan. I want to start with the best things you saw Tuesday night, because there was a lot to the good for New Jersey.
Yeah, they came out flying. First 5 minutes of the game, whatever it was, Devils leading in shots, 7-1. Brett right on the board. Finally scores a playoff goal with a goalie in net.
Good for him.
That was a huge plus for me. And just overall, the effort was great. Canes they woke up in the second period and were able to will their way there. I know the game ended 3-1, but looking at it from
2-1 game.
Looking at it from a positive angle, that's how I look at it.
2-1 game.
Brett Pesce played amazing. Former Cane.
Like Hurricane fans got mad at me because I was just showering him with love. I mean, he was an amazing. He was. If it wasn't for Martinook,
yeah,
and it might have been anyway.
I have things on him too. But
Pesce,
go on.
Pesce was probably the best player in the game.
100%.
He had at least 2 saves,
6 block shots, 2 saves, amazing. 3 saves. I'm not a big analytics guy,
right?
But
you're a stats guy. You're supposed to be the analytics guy here.
I don't like that stuff. What was his goal save above expected in that game? It was probably pretty high.
A lot, especially on the Kokaniemi almost goal. Yeah.
And he played the 3rd most minutes among the Devils D. That's crazy. And he had his imprints all over that game.
What is Sheldon Keefe watching? Well, he's playing heavy minutes because of who he's playing against.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the scenarios they're in, they had more power plays compared to one more power play to game compared to game 1. It's the way the ice time broke up.
That's true. Although Pesce did get on the ice, he had some power play time, but it was very.
He's not PP1.
No, it was not. It was very late. Ben Seltzer, Ben the Stats Guy, is here. All right, now with looks like no Luke Hughes again. No Brendan Dillon.
Yeah.
Jonas Siegenthaler, who has been out for a while, is going to come back. I think if it was a regular season game, there's no way he plays. But I think probably Sheldon Keefe thinks that some of Jonas Siegenthaler is better than any of Dennis Chowalski.
Yeah, so you were alluding to it. They are targeting him if they move on to round 2. That was a sweet spot.
They said May.
Or May, yeah.
They said May.
Which the series goes into May.
Still round 1. Yeah.
I mean, we're close.
Pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'd have a Friday and a Sunday.
Yeah. Listen, he is a great defenseman for the Devils. He had a down year last year, 57 games -7. This year he rebounded 55 games plus 9, 19.5 minutes, close to 2 blocks per game. 22-23. Plus 27.
He's a good
80
player.
Games. Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah. And they got him for cheap from the Capitals.
That's right.
The 3rd round pick, and that was a compensatory pick from, I think.
So Washington was trying to get rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's found a role here. So I think it'll be a big boost, especially on home ice. You could kind of match it up a little better. And it looks like he'll be paired with Nemec. Maybe it'll help him along, too.
Nemec got no help.
Yeah. So whatever it turns out to be, 15 minutes, it'll be better than what Cholowski gave. Cholowski gave 9-12.
Right.
And
he was exposed.
And he's a journeyman defenseman.
All right, let me ask you this about offensively, because it looks, based on the morning rushes, that Hischier and Meyer will be on the top line with Palat.
Yeah, same lines.
Same lines as we had in Game 2. It was better in Game 2.
Yeah.
On home ice, why not keep Hischier and Bratt together? Because you can keep them away from Stahl.
So I go back to what we were talking about Tuesday. I think they're trying to get Mercer going.
Okay.
Mercer, he's consistent 20-goal scorer the past 3 years. They have to get him going. Bratt's the facilitator on that line. That's the thinking behind it. I mean, Bratt is still going to play with Nico. Granted, there's power play opportunities.
Right. Yeah,
so
true.
There's still going to be that. Hey, and maybe since they have that home ice advantage and can do lines, maybe we'll see some load-ups every now and again where you'll see Bratt, Meyer, and Nico.
I would think that you
especially
would
if they're down.
Yeah, I think you would see some of that, especially away from Stahl, and the size of that line.
Yeah,
could be good against Aho, Jarvis, and Blake. And if I were Sheldon Keefe, that's who I would send Hischier out on.
Yeah,
because you're going to try to tire out those guys playing defense.
Yeah, and Nico will play defensively well against Aho.
Yeah,
so there's benefits both ways.
That was in it wasn't all that often a matchup, but I thought Halla, Mercer, and Bratt played pretty well against the Aho line. They did not get a lot of scoring chances.
No.
Aho had 0 shot attempts in game 2.
Yeah, and looking at it the other way, Bratt started off on fire. I thought, let me get this straight. I thought he had a great game, started off on fire, scored a goal, 3 shots on net, nothing after that.
Right.
No shots on net after that. That has to change. If he wants to be viewed as a superstar player, he has to get to the net more, create more opportunities. I know it's difficult against this Canes team.
True.
But we need another level.
All right, you said you had numbers on Martinook, who I know the raw numbers, the countable numbers.
Yes.
13 points in 7 playoff games against New Jersey.
That is insane.
Yes. It would be
Who is this
really
guy?
good. It would be normal if it were McDavid. It is abnormal because it is Martinook.
Yeah, so prior to the series, I was looking at, we did the history.
Yeah.
And it came up Eric Stahl. You see his name a lot on the score sheet. So Canes versus Devils in the playoffs, Eric Stahl has most points for the Canes versus Devils with 14. I used to think he was a big Devils killer. He had that big game-tying goal in 2009, Game 7. So his totals, 8 goals, 14 points, 12 career games versus New Jersey. Stahl. 19 career playoff goals with Carolina. So 8 goals, that's 42% was against New Jersey.
Right.
So now we go to Martinook. 13 points. He's 1 point behind now. And his story is crazy. He was waived in October 2022. 31 other franchises could have claimed him. But no, he stayed.
Okay, there's a backstory that I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, and like you mentioned, 7 career games, 13 points. 5 of those were multi-point efforts. One of them was Tuesday.
Yeah.
So he has 8 playoff goals total. Half of the output is against New Jersey. Like there's it's just who's stepping up next? Like who's going to be that next generation guy? It's going to be it's nightmares for me.
Well, it won't be Jankowski. He's not going to play today. I think they're going to have the same lineup.
Yeah.
Eric Robinson will play tonight. He'll get 2 goals tonight. No.
So what was the story for
So
Martinook?
real quick, I was going to
yeah.
When Martinook was waived in 2022,
Okay.
he still had a year left on a contract that paid him about $2 million.
Yeah, he signed a deal
the year before.
Yes.
Right. Still had a year left on his contract, and he had a injury history.
Okay.
And nobody was going to pick him up. They knew that nobody. Was it risky? Sure. Somebody with cap room could have.
Yeah.
But
Do you think it was
nobody
more because of the cap or the injury?
They needed to make some cap machinations to fit other things under. They knew nobody was going to take him, so they got him off the roster for the day and then brought him right. He was never going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But they did make a risk, much like I've said about Sebastian Aho when he signed the offer sheet.
Mm-hmm.
He understood when he was signing this, even though the chances were very, very slim, Carolina might not match.
Sure.
So it was like going for a par 5. So the team went for the par 5 and 2, but they're good golfers. They knew they were going to make it. But they did expose him, but they knew nobody was going to take him. So, but because they did not want to do that, they just felt like this was the best way to do what they had to do to fit other things onto the roster. He is a core player, though.
Yeah, and it's been a nightmare for me ever since.
All right, there are no other real lineup changes. Who do you think is the star if New Jersey can break through tonight?
I have to. I said it Tuesday. I may have said it Friday. I have to look at the big guys. Those big guys have to step up for me. Just looking at game 2, Dougie Hamilton he was playing that prominent offensive role with Luke Hughes out. Just one shot on net.
Right.
You need more, especially at home. He has to get it going. Nico, 1 shot at net, even strength, 3 shots total. Need more from him. Brat, we went over. I just have a little odds and ends game 3, maybe giving me a little hope besides coming back to New Jersey. Small sample size, but Devils been in the playoffs. This is now the 4th time since 2018. They've won all game 3s in that span.
Really?
Three of the previous ones.
Including one against Carolina in game 3. They scored 8 goals that day.
Yeah. So hopefully a big game here. And then I was looking at the previous history like we've done versus the Canes. Devils are 4-1 in game 3s versus Carolina. The lone exception, which I'm sure a lot of Carolina fans will be excited about, 2006.
Oh,
that
yes.
was the one game the Hurricanes won versus the Devils in game 3.
That was in New Jersey. Yeah, They won the first 2 here.
Yeah.
The miracle game 2 comeback win. Actually, they won it. They won that game in overtime, and then of course,
game 4 Devils won, and then game 5 was over.
All right, real quick, because you brought it up to me before we started this. Do we have Brent Burns, Timo Meier beef from their days in San Jose?
Ooh, yeah, that was interesting to see that they were involved in that skirmish. I think it was end of period 2, end of period 1, whatever it was. But me as a Devils fan, I was looking at headbutt. Let's see a call here. Dave Jackson on the air said,
"Don't listen to Dave Jackson. Don't. He's no help.
Either way, it could go either way. Ref's discretion. I was surprised not to see any supplemental disciplinary actions afterwards
for Meier. For faking,
I'm looking at the other way.
Like you can't believe.
I
got nothing for Timo Meier.
Head went to the head, and
nothing for Timo Meier.
He went into it.
Timo Meier can miss me with all of his shenanigans in this series already.
Well, I'm hoping he finally breaks through.
He's the guy that needs to. Because I do think he would fire everybody.
He was one guy that I left off in that that little game breakers.
He and Sebastian Aho are tied. With goals. All right, Ben. I'd wish you good luck tonight, but I don't really mean it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, the whole I didn't see it happen in real time. The Brent Burns, Timo Meier situation.
Yeah, I had to go back and look.
Okay, so I saw it. It ain't there's nothing there.
They play dirty all the time.
And Meier was, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my head.
Exaggeration much.
So this is what Timo does, by the way.
Yes.
And look, I didn't like it when Andre embellished the Dougie Hamilton little cross check. Andre didn't have to fall down. Now Hamilton should have been whistled for a slash after a clean check, but he wasn't. That was my argument when they evened up Meier and Gostisbehere, that wait a second, you shouldn't have evened that up anyway, and then you let Dougie do what he did. Anyway, tonight's going to be fun. Devils will play their best game of the series this evening, see if the Hurricanes can win it anyway, and maybe we can wrap this up quickly so we can do something else on Monday. Thank you, Victoria.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup Check-In. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup Check-In on 99.9 The Fan. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes.
Child abuse. It happens in all communities. Learning to spot the signs of abuse and knowing how to report it can save a child's life. Children's Advocacy Centers of North Carolina supports over 50 centers statewide, providing hope and healing to young victims of abuse, neglect, and trauma. Join us in the fight against child abuse. Visit